on every timeline, in every universe. There's one thing that we always talk about. Marvel. All right, greetings, everybody. Welcome to the Goodell Multiverse podcast. I am one of your hosts, Sam Goodell.
I'm Isaiah Goodell.
And we are on to our Spider-Man Far From Home Retrospective episode 24, guys.
Oh, that's wild.
Woo! All right,
We're
this
just
is
ripping through.
Yeah, this is officially the last one in the Infinity Saga. Officially.
Yeah.
It's touching upon multiverse stuff, and we're going to get into it. But first, Ike, why don't you give us the agenda? What we're doing?
All right, guys. So obviously we're going to do our Multiverse Minute first, and we got some really cool stuff in there. We got a couple that we didn't get to the last time because of the D23 thing, but we're talking about how Spider-Man is just making all of the money, and we're talking about how James Gunn might be losing his job, or has he already? We'll talk about that. We're also going to see Sebastian Stan, I guess, tells us who he's playing in the Batman, and it's actually kind of a disappointment. And then we're going to see Avengers Infinity War. No, is there problems? And then we got rumors, guys, and the rumors is 2 Dooms. Yeah, right. And then Doctor Strange 3 was repurposed. That, of course it was. And Lee Pace and Henry Cavill stuff, some Magneto news, and that's going to be an interesting conversation as well. And then from that, guys, we're going to go into a nice little Branchpoint breakdown of our Lanterns Season 1, Episode 1 review, which is exciting because I just watched that this morning. I didn't have a lot of time this week to watch it twice, but I figured the first one time was all I needed. And then, of course, we got our retrospective, guys, of Spider-Man Far From Home, which is another, hey, going to be a fun one, at least.
Yeah.
It might not be the banger that we've had the last few times, but it is it's up there, though.
It's still part of the golden age of Marvel.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I can't wait to dive into that.
Some fun little nuggets in it, though. They're a little weird, but we'll have a good time talking about it.
Yeah, totally. Well, I just wanted to give 2 things that I want, 2 type of announcements, sort of just things I wanted to touch upon before we get started. Within this past week, there was a young actress that passed away, Hayden Panettiere. Anyone who is familiar in like sci-fi fandom or just in some of the Hollywood stuff she's done, she only passed away at the age of 36. And today, actually, as we're filming it, is her birthday. She would have been 37 years old today. Everyone knows her from the TV show Heroes. And then I know her more personally through the show Nashville. And that was quite devastating. Other people might know of her from the Scream series. I think she was in 2 episodes, or 2 movies, I should say, of that franchise. So, it's sad to lose someone that young, 36 years old. I know she struggled a lot with some addictions that she's talked about in her past, but regardless, that's a tragic passing at a young age. And so I think the famous quote that's going around right now online, which is in honor and memory of her, is "Save the cheerleader, save the world." I hear that is the biggest. I have yet to watch the Hero show, and I am going to now just because of wanting to remember her a little bit more so. And her acting chops was amazing and things like that. So, and her singing voice, oh my gosh, was amazing in Nashville. We're sorry for your passing, Hayden, but you do have fans, and you will definitely be remembered. I still remember Brittany Murphy, long time ago, young actress, passed away, tragically young, and so unfortunately you're part of that category now, Hayden. But anyways, guys, the announcement, the second thing I want to talk about, the quick announcement I want to make is Ike and I have talked about some of the ways we could be able to come together as a community online a little bit more. And recently, there has been a lot of toxicity in certain parts of the Marvel fandom that we don't want to have that part of our dialogue and our space and things like that. So we've decided to come up with something on our Facebook page, like a group page that's just on fandom. So I nicknamed it the Fandom Dimension, where it's an open group page I'll read to you what I've written down about it, and if it piques your interest or anything like that, please go onto our Facebook page and you can be able to find it there. But whether you've been reading Marvel Comics for decades, grew up watching the X-Men animated series, or discovered the MCU through Iron Man and Avengers, or simply love talking about your favorite heroes and villains, the fandom dimension is a place where you could come together and enjoy as a fandom with one simple goal: talk Marvel, celebrate Marvel, debate Marvel, and have fun. This group page is dedicated to Marvel Comics, the X-Men, the MCU, Marvel Television, animation, characters, storylines, history, behind the scenes, Lulu, theory, speculation, collectibles, everything else that makes the Marvel fandom great. And, though Marvel does talk about within its subject matter, as we've done through our X-Men retrospectives, things such as prejudice, discrimination, identity, morality, government, and interconnected politics within Marvel, we want to make this space as political free as possible to get rid of any of the toxicity that could come from people who have too much of a political agenda driving their motivations. That's probably the best way to say it. So, discussions can be made and arguments about different things within Marvel, the MCU, and even the Marvel politics, but touching upon things like current politicians or current political parties, things like that, that's not going to be allowed in this group page. So it's a place where if you want to just hear about X-Men or talk with fellow X-Men fans or Marvel fans in general, you can talk about that without having to pop up your phone or your computer and see a political post in relation to what you should be seeing. So that's sort of the idea behind it. That is the fandom. And so, guys, please go on to our Facebook page and like our Facebook page, the Goodell Multiverse Podcast, and you will find the group listed there. We are creating it at the moment, and by the time this episode is out there, it will be out there for you. So,
awesome.
Do you have any thoughts on the group page or anything?
I think it's going to be a neat experiment, and let's see how it goes. I have personal thoughts on the issues that we have in fandom that makes me, I feel a little less optimistic as you do about it. So I'm hoping this page helps with that, and at least with us, with our thing, and maybe we can grow into something with that. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Everything's always a try and experiment, right? Yeah, I think there's a generational problem that we have as well, unfortunately, and it might transcend politics, and that kind of stuff. So I think it'd be interesting to see how. We all know that not everybody that's going to go onto that page is going to abide by the whole no politics thing, because some people are going to think that, well, my thing's not political because it's just what I think and it's not a political thing. It's the thing that is right. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's not from a political place or from a social political place, sociological place. And that's where the discussion can be had, and that's where the debates can be had without it being a you on one side and the other person on the other.
Yeah.
One of the ones that I hope comes up is I hope we talk about this idea of Jean Grey and this idea of telepaths and how they're able to enter people's minds, because I see that often I read a lot of things that I see that there is a big issue in like random people now out there, at least the ones posting online, with this idea of telepaths being able to go into people's heads without asking their permission. And, I get the position, but I think there's a discussion to be had about, do we fundamentally change the characters because of the times we're in now? Or do we use that as a stepping stone to have a bigger conversation? Because I think that's more appropriate to have the bigger conversation rather than changing something. So I'm curious to see how many of these conversations go that way. We'll check it out. I'll partake when I see good ones. We'll go from there, and I'm excited for this. I think it's going to work, and I think it's going to be cool. And, you're going to have the bad eggs that just aren't going to abide by it, but we'll deal with that. And the best way to deal with that stuff is, hey, guys, if you come with an opinion, just be ready to talk about it.
And just be the main thing about this, it's okay if we have differences of opinions.
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to be on when I talk about making this as political free as possible. If there is politics within the movies that we are talking about and the comics that we're talking about, we are allowed to discuss that. But the thing is to come at it in a respectful manner, understand that not the other person is going to think exactly like you, but open and honest and healthy debate is okay and acceptable. But when it comes to name calling, when it comes to bullying, harassing, or just making blatant accusations with no part of backing it up, that's what's not going to be tolerated.
Yeah, you're just going to get ignored and kicked out.
Yes.
So go ahead.
Exactly.
If you want to do it, do it. You're not going to be on there long.
Yeah.
So
that we want to make this welcoming and healthy environment. I won't say the term safe space because we should be able to come with a more open-minded feeling and real true diversity of thought and be able to talk to each other about that. But when things get down in the gutter, instead of going into the gutter, you're just not going to be part of it anymore.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of good debate when you have an opposite side. I think it's healthy. It is a key component to why this country is the way it is and built the way it is. And I think that it goes into everything when it comes down to anything in life. So you got to be able to hear what other people think and take it. And if it's just going to turn to insults and stuff, then you don't really have, you need to understand how intelligent that sounds. So like step back and think, I really have a legitimate thing to say. And then someone just starts calling you names over it. It's no different than if you do the same back. So just treat people how you want to be treated and have a good talk about it. And that's cool. And we might end up still disagreeing by the end of it, but that's the best part about it though. We don't have to hate each other. We're all still watching and enjoying the same movies.
Yep, it's
same comic books.
And if don't get into it thinking you are going to be persuading people. If someone is open-minded coming to the debate and they naturally get persuaded one way or the other, that's fine. That's what debates are supposed to be about. It's where you come with an open mind. But once you get down to the personal name calling and aspects of things, you've proven you've already lost the debate because you don't have a debate, and two, maybe just don't participate in it then. Agree to disagree and move on to something else.
Yeah, bring some maturity to it.
Exactly, yes. So, with that said, guys, we're going to roll on into our Multiverse Minute and get this episode started.
Sounds good to me. All right, guys, welcome to the Multiverse Minute. This is going to be an exciting one. We got 4 of them to get through today, guys. Some are going to be a little longer than others. Truthfully, I don't got a ton to say about a lot of these, but we'll be fun to kind of dive into them. So, Sammy, why don't you hit us off with our first one, which is kind of the first 2 guys are ones that we didn't get to last time, so we'll get through them pretty quick anyway. So go ahead, Sammy. What's our first story of the day that we're going to talk about?
All right, well, guys, brand new day. How about brand new record breaking? Spider-Man Brand New Day, since the first trailer, continues to break records. The latest is reaching a global box office of over $2 billion after 3 weeks only in the theaters. This film is projected to reach Avengers Endgame heights if it continues this way. That is crazy. It's already beaten No Way Home, which already was insane at the time. So, what do you think about this, Ike?
I'm not surprised. So, I might be a little surprised that it's made this much money that fast. Because usually it's like later on it starts to add up that far, but it got for $2 billion real quick. It has not been out that long, and it's got a while to go still. The thing is, guys, after watching it that second time, and that's the key. You don't get these numbers unless you're going back 2, 3, 4, And us nerds, even the ones online that complain about this movie, are going to watch it multiple times. So they're not helping their case if they don't like what they're doing because they're just handing them more money.
Yes.
My point to anything is if you see a movie you don't like and you want different, then stop giving it money. Because that's the only way they're going to change it in the industry. Because right now they just see, but you're paying us. So that is Spider-Man. I don't think we should ever underestimate how popular Spider-Man is. Everybody can watch Spider-Man.
Yes.
And that's what they've done with these movies that's real wild. This one might be a little edgier than the others, but it's still kid-friendly enough where you could take your 8-year-old to go watch this movie, and it's not so far out of bounds, right? I know some people out there be like, oh my God, don't take your 8-year-old to some of this stuff. Yeah, but it's not that bad. You know what I mean? Like, it's really, it's got some moments that are a little edgier, but it's really not that bad. I'd say there was more edgier stuff in No Way Home anyway than this. With when it comes down to like death and stuff. But anyway, yeah, don't underestimate Spider-Man. I'm excited. I hope it takes all the money. It's okay. Go surpass Endgame. It's cool. I love Endgame. I want Endgame to stay on top. I think this movie is a 10 out of 10. When we get to our retrospective, that might change. But my initial, I do love this Spider-Man movie. It is the way, this is how these movies should be. It's a movie that was refreshing. So that's why we're going to watch it again over and over. And the other thing, one thing I'll add to it, and I'll just pass it to you because that's all I got to say, is it's interesting for the MCU in a whole, this whole news, because we have Robert Downey Jr. was like the face of Marvel for a long time. Chris Evans kind of, after a while, he didn't start right out like this, but after a while, Chris Evans became the heart of Marvel, right? Mm-hmm. It's funny that their character now that has become the face of Marvel is one that they share with another company, right? It's maybe, it needs to wake you guys up just a tad on what you're doing with the others. I'm not saying it's awful, but now you realize, man, we could do better because look what we're doing with him. And this is what you're never going to get Sony to back down. Oh, if you keep making them this good, right? Like, I mean, you might need a bad one just to buy Spider-Man back. I'm just saying, because Sony's like, why would we not? I mean, Sony is doing nothing but making out with this too. You know, I feel like, well, it's a win-win all the way around. Yes, I completely, full-heartedly agree with you. The only time I think Marvel ever have a chance of getting Spider-Man back is Kevin Feige takes his hands off the wheel for the Spider-Man part and says, go ahead and make whatever you're going to make. The MCU is not going to be involved in it. And then they end up getting the same writers that they did for their Sonyverse, and it just falls flat. Yeah, prove what we know already. We know Sony can make cartoons. Mm-hmm. But when it comes down to Spider-Man, they just don't know how to do it. Yep. So let's let them do it alone. Let's get a bad Spider-Man movie and just let them have it. And I hate to say that, but I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you don't have to. We love this. It's not going to. If the partnership is working, look how lucrative it is for both Sony and for Marvel. So, I mean, $2 billion. Just keep up this routine, keep up these contracts, and make Spider-Man the face officially of it now. Well, I mean, he kind of is. Like, the numbers are speaking for themselves. And I think that's the interesting part is it's funny that they're the face of Marvel right now isn't even completely theirs. Yeah. And it's kind of like, oh no, we need to fix that. Like, so yeah, other than that, that's great news. I'm glad the movie's getting it. And it's showing that this is the direction we should go. Mm-hmm. And I hope it keeps going that way. So yeah, congratulations, Tom Holland. Yeah, and banging out this year. Between Odyssey, this, what else is he in? I mean, I know Zendaya's made out probably better than him. Between this, Odyssey, and Doom. Yeah, it hasn't even come out yet. She's right for whatever that's going to be. All right, guys. Well, let us know what you think in the comments below on Spider-Man Brand New Day, breaking records. Are you in favor of this? Do you think it should overtake Endgame, or do you think Endgame should continue to be king? We'll find out coming September when it's re-released what's going to happen. But it looks like it's catching up. So let us know in the comments below. All right, Ike, what's our next topic? All right, guys, we're going to talk some DC. We're going to get on some James Gunn stuff, guys. Okay, so while the studio itself has not been canceled, it was confirmed by Variety that James Gunn's initial vision of Phase 1, Gods and Monsters, took a stumble Wednesday with a number of projects either delayed indefinitely or canceled and rejected. So I'm of a couple minds of this one. You want to tell them real quick, Sammy, what officially has been canceled, delayed, and all that, and we'll go from there. Sure. Yes, I certainly will. The first thing I'm going to say is I definitely do think that James Gunn needs to take a page out of Kevin Feige when he's announcing the phases. Because from my understanding, this phase, Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters pitch and slate was done behind closed doors, and it wasn't at a convention. You know, Kevin Feige and Marvel, they're really smart when they do these things. We just saw what happened at D23, and we saw what happened at San Diego Comic-Con. They rent a hall out. They gather the fans. They make it really big and triumphant and bring up that excitement and energy. And that's definitely something James Gunn needs when he's starting off the DCU. He needs that, all the DC fans to get excited about what his vision is going to be. And apparently this was done mostly behind closed doors or just some snapshots from some members of the audience, just getting a glimpse of what he's talking about. So that's one of the only reasons we know of some of these projects, other than what has been confirmed in the trades. But that aside, the thing we're going to be talking about, there are 4 specific series that have been
completely canceled, shelved, scrapped, however you want to call it. So there's a show called Waller. There was a live action series starring Viola Davis. It was in the project, it was in the works, and that is now apparently, quote, dead at DC Studios. There's another show called Paradise Lost, which is a Wonder Woman prequel series exploring the history of Amazon that has now been canceled out of its development phase. The next show is an animated series, which that's not as big of a deal as the live action stuff what he's making, but still, Blue Beetle, an animated series. It was supposed to continue the character from the live action movie in an animated form. That now has been shelved. And then a show called Booster Gold was supposed to be in development, but that one now is no longer moving forward as well. So, there are some other rejected pitches that they had on their plates. There was a Poison Ivy and Catwoman series pitch that has now been completely like scrapped or passed on, I should say. Furthermore, the HBO and DC Studios show The Penguin that premiered after the first Batman movie apparently is still in development, but it has been pushed back significantly, most likely due to Batman Part 2 that's going to be coming out now that that's being pushed back. But still, that was in the mix of this whole thing. Other than that, that was all that they announced, at least. And I take this a little bit of a grain of salt, personally, if I was going to give my 2 cents. I think what was canceled and reworked or scrapped that they're talking about are actually more James Gunn specialties, the obscured characters that you can turn into something really gold, pun intended for Booster Gold. But I also think that maybe they're taking a look at what's going on with Marvel, and they're like, how are we going to build our universe? And maybe the shows aren't the way to go. I don't know. There's no confirmation from my understanding of Peacemaker Season 3, but that doesn't mean they're not working on it because the first 2 seasons were successful, things like that.
Cena keeps saying he's ready for it, so it's not like there's anything.
Yes. And
just story problem.
Penguin, I haven't seen it yet, but so what you tell me, Penguin is amazing, and it's not canceled. It's just pushed back. And for me, the optimistic part of me says it's because Batman was pushed back. So that makes sense. They're trying to intercombine them. Animated shows, like I said, that isn't a big deal to me as much because I don't view animated shows as the same as their universe they're creating. But also, if this animated show for Blue Beetle was supposed to continue from the first movie, we already know Blue Beetle is going to be a Man of Tomorrow. So they're probably like, instead of doing an animated show about it, just make it part of live action still, just in Superman's movie of continuing the story. Who knows? So I'm actually being more optimistic than I thought I was going into this, guys. But still, what are your thoughts on all this? Like,
yeah, so I'm going to double down on some of that and actually go further. First, a few things I want to point out is I think that personally, well, I'm just going to say it right out. Excuse me, guys, but I'm going to say it right out. I think there's no story here. I think that there's a story being made out of nothing. And why I say that is because personally, I do believe that James Gunn has this way of going, I'm going to be transparent about what we're working on, but I'm not going to do the whole like panel reveal like Feige does. And I think that's his only mistake here. If there's anything that he should do, if I were to give him any advice, it'd be like, don't tell us anymore what you're working on, because they're taking it as word and it's not. He's not coming out and promising these things. These are just ideas that are being tossed around. Do you realize if we heard every idea tossed around at a Marvel table, that we could sit here and have this discussion every week about something that they didn't do or scrapped or decided to change? And I think all you're seeing, guys, is a group of people that are coming up with whatever they can to what else can we do to build this world. And James's approach to the DC, I'm going to stay positive with this until he makes a bad movie. I still yet to see Supergirl, so I might change my opinion as soon as I watch that darn movie. But until I see a bad movie, like a movie of like, oh no, that's really not a good one, I'm just going to tell you, I think that this is just discussions that the mistake he made was telling you he was having them. Because now you think, oh, look, that was canceled. But you know what? It probably wasn't even close to being done anyway. It's probably, this could be a cool idea. This could be a cool idea. And like I said, if we knew all the ones Marvel did, we'd be bitching the same. And you know what? The funny thing is we do know the ones Marvel did, that they literally had actors come out on stage to play and then cancel them, and we don't hold their feet to the fire like they are him now. A part of this is just a knee-jerk reaction from the fandom. And you guys be careful, because you're turning into the Star Wars fans again. You're looking for fire where there's not a problem yet. Let these guys cook. My advice to James is either come out with a bunch of stuff that you're working on or say nothing. And why I think it is nothing is because they include this thing with Penguin, which has got nothing to do with James and the DCU. Nothing to do with it. So this is a studio thing that's happening, not a James Gunn thing that's happening. So is he losing his job? No. Do I think they're thinking about him losing his job? No. Are you fans going to make him wish he didn't take the job? Yes. Stop doing it. Realize, guys, the Penguin being canceled or pushed and the Batman being pushed has zero things to do with what James Gunn is doing. Zero. That is not part of their discussion. The idea of that being that alternate universe stuff is that that's on their own and what they're doing there. And Penguin has been pushed back because Batman 2 was pushed, because Matt Reeves had some things that he had to sort out, because it takes him 9 years to write a script. Now that we can joke about it all day, but that's what it is. It's got nothing to do with James Gunn's slate. None of it. None of it. And so the fact that they're throwing that even in the basket makes me realize, oh, you're not seeing the bigger picture here. It's not a big deal, guys. This is a story of almost about nothing. Where it's in discuss where he had these ideas of these really crazy ones, like some of these I've never even heard of. And Waller, I mean, yeah, that could be a great show, but he might be saying that could be great. After we do the first 2 Justice Leagues, let's do a Waller one. That could have been the discussion in the room. We don't know. It's not being canceled because Supergirl didn't do well. That's not what's happening here, guys. But the thing is, though, is you guys online are going to make that kind of stuff happen. If you don't give it the good grace of just letting it be what it's going to be until you know it's going to be bad, then we have a problem. So that's going to be a problem. Don't turn us into Star Wars where everything is nitpicky. Don't do this. Because if it is, I'm going to, on a podcast like this, I'm going to start turning the tables around on you. If you want James Gunn out and you think they're doing wrong, then you know what? You tell me what we do with the DC universe then. Do we just put it on ice for 20 years and wait till it was popular again? Or is there a path here? So you guys tell us, put in the comments. You don't like what James Gunn is doing? What's your idea? Because frankly, you got one of the best guys in the business right now that make these kinds of movies, giving some ideas. People are already saying Clayface is bad, and they haven't even seen the darn movie yet. That is an awful thing. That's what you guys have done to Star Wars, and that's what you're going to do to this. So stop. There's no news here, guys. There's no, James, somebody's making it news because we're used to it. We want to talk about it. We want these big spectacles. James is like, oh yeah, I'll be transparent. I'll tell you all the weird ideas I got, and you're taking it as gold. You're taking it as word, and it's not. These are ideas he has. These 99% of them he's got are probably going to go to the wayside. Like I said, you imagine the ideas that have sat on a Marvel table that they've said no, definitely no, and then okay, yeah, let's do that one. You know what I mean? Like if we were to really be picky about it. Yeah, so stop, guys.
What's funny when you mentioned that? I'm literally picturing on my head for the first 3 phases, they were like that. And then when the new leadership changed and they were like more, it was no longer, oh, let's just scrap this. They're like, let's just do it. And that's what we got. We got some very low quality shows.
They made promises they didn't want to back up on because the fans were going to pick them apart.
So,
you're right.
It's so. What's funny for me is how I'm feeling about this, because I'm not James Gunn's biggest supporter. I think we've talked about that on the podcast.
Yeah.
But I'm going to back him up on this and be like, one, some of these shows that he already is already greenlit and he's doing, like Clayface, I say this in a nice way. It's a niche character, which means he's going to do great with it only because he excels on these niche characters. It's the bigger ones like the Batmans and the Supermans and Wonder Womans that I'm more curious to see how he's going to do, if he could pull out the punches or not.
I think he's doing the slower burn than Marvel did.
Mm-hmm.
I think he sees Marvel did this. You built a world and then you gave us Avengers. but you did it in like 4 or 5 movies, right?
Mhm.
I think he's like, this world, we need to rebuild from the bottom up because of what people have done to it. And I think he's world building slower than what you want. And he started off in the middle of a world that's existed and now backtracking to meet up to where Superman is.
Yeah.
Is it the best route? No, because it has made it hard to follow. And like you said, when you watch Superman, you feel like, I missed a movie somewhere. You know what I mean? But other than that, the movie is good. It's just, it does feel like there was a movie before it that
it feels like you jumped into a sequel. But
I think the world building is going to make you feel like that fits all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to give you Clayface. He's going to give you some of these really weird, obscure things. Then when you do get Batman, you're going to get more of a Batman movie because we don't need to spend a lot of time on Clayface because we have a whole movie out. Now, I'm not saying that that's the way to do it, and I'm not saying that could be successful. As long as the movies are good, then we're fine with it.
Yeah.
Until it starts looking like it's going a bad direction, guys, don't make it like it already is.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I were him and I was hearing stuff like this and it was the trades you're talking about it, yeah, I'd be like, oh man, fans suck.
But you also, and guys, you also have to think about it on this perspective. Yeah, James Gunn, he is a creative genius behind a lot of this stuff. Heck, one of your favorite Marvel movies is done by him. Favorite teams, I would say. So lay off on him just a little bit. He is now stepping into a Kevin Feige level position that the first phase, you ask Kevin, he's like, we weren't really sure how we were doing this, if it was even going to succeed. And then after Avengers, they started coming up with a grand idea, and then they got the backing of Disney, and it rolled into something beautiful and magnificent. James is doing the same thing. He inherited a universe from someone before that, whether you agreed with him or not, kind of got the short end of the stick because of studio interference. And before the Snyder was involved, there was already a universe being built with all these different Batman, Superman movies going back to like the 40s. So like he's inheriting a whole universe. He has to start from scratch and put his take on it. And that's going to take some time. That doesn't mean it needs to be slow and like we have to find out in 12 years we get Justice League, but you have to give these little wins where they come and see where the stumbling blocks are. And I guarantee you, by his phase 2, chapter 2, whatever it is, he's going to have the ball rolling on what he is envisioning for this universe.
They'll find their stride.
It's going to take some time. You got to give him a chance before you poo-poo on him. I'm just saying, I will be the first person to step up to the plate and say, yeah, you did about a decade's worth of movies that, let's face it, 75% of them were crap. But we have to get to a decade first to figure out if this is really going to be worth it or not. You know what I mean? And yeah, so I'm just saying, I'm actually saying to you guys, give him the benefit of the doubt on this. So what are your thoughts? Do you think that you should give him a little bit of grace here? Do you think that it should go back to Zack Snyder? I'm telling you, it's probably not going to ever happen. But let us know what you think in the comments below, because we do want to hear what you guys have to say. So I'm going to roll into our next topic.
Let's do it.
All right. Sebastian Stan is Harvey Dent.
That guy.
Now, there's a little asterisk here we have to put on it, but it basically unfortunately came out. So I wrote it small. Let me read. All right. In a new interview with a French outlet, Le Journal du Dimanche, I can't say that right.
Close enough to me.
Oui. Sebastian Stan discussed his role in Batman Part 2 while talking about Avengers Doomsday, because I mean, he's all over the place now. He says, quote, We are just shooting scattered scenes in Doomsday. It's different way of working, continuous, consistently evolving. The producers didn't want us to read it in its entirety to avoid journalists asking us questions. I've been following this rule for 15 years. I'm used to it. I also can't say anything about the Batman Part 2 by Matt Reeves, where I play Harvey Dent. The beauty of this profession also lies in participating in projects of this scale, which I love as a viewer. Now, the Harvey Dent part was later removed and deemed by the outlet a, quote, misquote, but it was included in there in its entirety when it was first published. So, I guess the bigger...
Interesting.
I feel like the big story, there's a couple of different big stories within this. One is Sebastian Stan revealing that he's playing Harvey Dent. And the other one is, was that supposed to be one of those off-the-record comments and it wasn't made clear and the person put it in there and then Sebastian Stan's like, I'm going to lose my job if you say I said that. You got to take that out. And they had to do a redaction. I don't know. It's just a thought out there, because I'm sure any journalist who actually hears of the actors confirming something is going to put it in there and then the save face be like, oh, no, that wasn't right. So what are your thoughts on this, Ike? Do you think that this is legit? He is playing Harvey Dent, or this is really a true, honest misquote?
So none of this was filmed, right? This was like a report, it was like a magazine.
I think it's a magazine interview. Yeah.
It sounds like it. They specifically say misquote, not just redacted, right? They redacted it as a misquote, right?
Yeah, they're saying, they redacted it saying that was a quote misquote.
So in other words, he probably said, like, I can't talk about the Batman 2, like whether I'm Harvey Dent or not. And they were just like, Harvey Dent, we're just going to put that in there. And then they're like, hey, no, that's not what I said. And like, oh, yeah, you didn't. Oops, we'll just redact it. That to me is more like it. I hope it's that. I don't want him to be Harvey Dent. I'm okay if he is. I'm okay with it. I prefer them. I mean, you got an opportunity to have some really cool stuff going on here and let him be something different.
Mm-hmm.
Let this guy act, man. He's so good. And I'm not saying Harvey Dent is too on the nose, but it does feel on the nose. And I don't think that's how Matt works. I don't think he's Harvey Dent. I do think when they say misquote, I think they did mean that he must have said the words Harvey Dent in the interview, and they thought, oh, that's what he's talking about. And he's probably like, no, that's not what it was. And it could have been as simple as he's talking to a bunch of people that speak a lot of French, and it was a miscommunication of language.
Mm-hmm.
There could be a lot of reasons why it was that way. But until we actually, if we could hear it and see what he said specifically, we'd have the definite answer. But the fact that it's redacted as a misquote makes me automatically think, this isn't quite news yet. He's not saying he's Harvey Dent. It could have been easy. Like, I can't tell everybody. So, like, if I was playing Harvey Dent, it's got to be a secret. That could have been exactly what he said. And it would be like, to them, maybe in the lost in translation, they thought that was him saying, like, I can't talk about being Harvey Dent. And that's kind of what he's saying, but he's saying it like, if I was Harvey Dent. So I'm thinking it's more that than anything else. Because at this point, if he did slip, I don't see the benefit in, because it's going to come out anyways. I mean, we live in a time where it's out. So even if they were like, hey, save my job, it didn't matter. Someone still reported it. So the way I see it is, I think DC would just be, well, let's just lean into it. And yeah, he's already done. I think they benefit more from letting his mistake just be something that everybody knows is coming than trying to hide it like this at this point. There's so much more going on in this Batman 2 movie. To tell us who he's playing really doesn't give anything away anyways. Say he did say I am Harvey Dent and it was an accident, and oops, I slipped and I shouldn't have said that. What's a change on what we know about Batman 2? Nothing. We just know who he's playing. It doesn't change anything.
The misquote is he didn't say "lay Harvey Dent."
Right. Yeah. He didn't put some asterisks there, or they just misinterpreted it. Or, yeah, I think that's what's going on here. I think it was a foreign paper, lost in translation. He said the words Harvey Dent, comparing to keeping it a secret, and they thought that was him admitting he's Harvey Dent on accident. And they're all looking for this, guys. All these newspapers, and they want the hot thing. Ooh, that's something. We could be the first. And it's like, oops, that's not what he said. So,
yeah,
okay, we'll redact it then.
No offense, but who? I mean, we're over in America, so we don't hear foreign papers anyways. But who's heard of the French outlet Le Journal?
It sounds like dog poop. Sorry.
No offense.
I love your French, but sometimes your words are like, really? Just sound. But I'm sure we sound that way to you as well. It's just probably why you thought he said this. But anyways, I think, I chalk it up as that. If I was in DC right now, if I was the head of whoever's in charge of this, Matt Reeves or whoever makes these decisions, and this happened, I would just be like, well, just hey, look, the cat's out of the bag. So you tell him, it's okay. We'll just give him a call and say, hey, dude, it's not true. Good keeping secrets. You know, it's not going to lose his job. He's already paid what he's done. I've felt a lot of this already.
And even if he did reveal his name was Harvey Dent and it was an oops on his end, that doesn't mean the fans don't want to see what his portrayal of Harvey Dent's going to be like. You know what I mean?
It'd be one thing if he says, wait till, it's like me telling you that I killed Batman in the next movie. Whoa!
No,
you know what I mean?
That would be
that'd be like, dude, what the hell are you doing, man? You know, it's like, that would be a problem, right? Like, I think, once again, if I was the damage control to this would be to lean into the whole idea of, yeah, we told him he can spoil it, and this is just his way of doing it, kind of like what they've done with Tom Holland. Like, it went from he did make legit mistakes to now they made him do mistakes on purpose to make it look like it was always the plan, right? So they fix it that way all the time. So DC, you're just kicking yourself in the butt if you're redacting it and it is true, because then it's just like, what are you hiding then? It's like, you tell me, put in the comments, guys, what does it tell you if you know that he's playing Harvey Dent in Batman 2 that is so significant that you couldn't just tell us that right now? That's why I think it's not Harvey Dent. And it's someone they don't want us to know about yet because it would give away some.
It does throw us off the scent of whatever he really could be playing. Right, Victor says, like, we kind of hope he is or not.
Oh, I hope that is the case.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Anyways, guys, what do you think about this? Do you think Sebastian Stan truly let it slip that he's playing Harvey Dent? Do you think it was, as Ike said, a loss on translation of a foreign press? Or do you think that it's something else completely? Maybe that's part of their marketing ploy. Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah.
All right, Ike, take it away for our last topic.
So our last one, guys, is another interesting one. The past week, Pinewood Studios reported that Secret Wars was officially beginning production, and with only about a week's worth of filming taking place, the entire crew was asked to put production on hold for 5 weeks. Filming is set to resume at the end of September 2026.
So Secret Wars sounds like they're off to a rocky start.
It does.
Which is surprising. And the news part of it is that Pinewood Studios actually is reporting on this, which is the place where they're filming all these big things. So, that's a pretty big deal, more official, not rumor stuff. The only rumor part of it is why? What's happening?
Yeah.
But, we could speculate. For people like the Russo brothers and Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios that already are gung-hoing on Doomsday and had Secret Wars in the can and everything, like they're all ready for this. For them, for 5 weeks, not 5 days, 5 weeks after they already brought the crew in. That's the thing that is most interesting to me, and I'm not much of a movie buff as in the behind the scenes stuff, but it does raise a little red flag when you've had people fly over, because I believe Pinewood Studios is in England, right?
It is.
It's in the UK.
Yeah.
You've had talent fly over, crew fly over, all these different types of people, visual effects artists, you name it, that work on movies like this. They got there, camera started rolling. For a full 7 days, they were filming stuff. And who knows how much they filmed in 7 days. But sometimes you only need a couple of days to make a really good scene like they did for Thunderbolts. They had just started filming Avengers Doomsday, and Thunderbolts was coming out in like 2 weeks. And the Russo brothers filmed that whole post-credit scene and got it visually affected and all done right for the Thunderbolts release. So really, they could film a lot in 7 days if they really are down to the wire on their schedule. But then to tell the whole crew, hey, go back home to the States. Like, you don't need to be here right now. We have about good 5 weeks before we start production up again. That either tells me they're really majorly overhauling parts of Secret Wars that maybe they weren't either planning on, given it as abrupt as it sounds. Maybe contracts for certain characters finally have gone through. And so their version of Secret Wars is now going to be altered because guess what, guys? We got Famke Janssen for the whole freaking movie. So therefore, why not make it be a Jean Grey Phoenix movie too? Who knows? I'm just saying, this is just speculation. But to me, it means that to be optimistic about it, some big opportunity probably came up. Because otherwise, it's a big letdown if something happened. And we're like, oh, wait a minute. He doesn't want to do this film anymore. So we got to wait 5 weeks to renegotiate some stuff to get him back on. I'm hoping it's not something like that. I'm hoping it's more of what I said before of, oh, we got people we didn't think we were going to get, so therefore we're going to add them in. Or who knows? Maybe just throwing this out there, they let John Campea see this Secret Wars script, and they're like, nope, we can't do it now. We let him see it. So,
thanks, John.
So that's just my speculation. That's all I have to say on it. It's just big question marks. I'm sure we'll find out rumors in our rumor mill of what's going on.
So my gut tells me this, that there's no story here either. I think that we live in a time, guys, where any news or anything you can say that might be happening will make headlines and get attention for you. And I think Pinewood Studios knows the schedule clearly of what people are doing, but they don't know what's going on. They're not brought into the meetings of when we're filming what, why we're filming it, when, story this, story that's not part of they're not on that inner circle. I'm telling you right now, guys, they've filmed a lot of Secret Wars stuff already. And with that said, I think some of the Secret Wars stuff they have to film has got a lot to do with scheduling, is your big one. If I were to guess, they brought the crew in because, hey, and it does sound like a lot. I will say this, flying people in, then send them all home. That sounds ridiculous, right? Yeah, movies do this all the time. All the time. All the time. You know, Tom Cruise broke his leg on Mission Impossible Fallout. They had to be out for 8 weeks. They sent them all home with pay. Sorry, guys. We'll come back when he's healed. Because guess what? You won't make that movie unless Tom's there. For one, he's a creative genius of it. For two, he's in every scene. So it's like, what can you film? The grass. Well, what happens? He walks across it. Well, guess what?
You gotta need him now.
Yeah. So, well, guess we're just going to film the grass. You know, and so I really, guys, I do think, listen, what's happening here is, hey, we got 3 weeks. Let's film what we have with these guys. And we got to do these things. And we'll do it here in these studios. And then for the next 6 weeks, you guys can all go home. We're going to go do some location shooting with an actor that's able to do this, but we have to go to them because they'll be in this movie, but we got to set up a stage there because they're doing other things. I think they're accommodating the best they can with the immense, ridiculous amount of scheduling that you have to do when you have an ensemble cast like this together. And I will bet that why it's harder with this one is because there is everybody plus their mother and sister in it. It's a little different than Endgame, because even Endgame, guys, there's only a couple times where they were actually all in the same room together. You know, I mean, even the big shot when you see them going into that big war, not all of them were there. They had a good amount of them at one point, but I think the funeral scene was the only time in Endgame that everybody was in the same spot at once.
Yeah, they probably...
And that was like one of the, they probably struggled to figure out how to do that.
They probably had like one good solid day for just that and be like, this is all we're going to
happen right now.
And yes.
Some of those guys had to be on a plane in an hour after they were done filming, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Remember this, guys. All of these actors in these movies are big enough actors. They're doing other work. Mm-hmm. This isn't just a bunch of kids. Now, if this was X-Men, I'd be like, what's going on? It's not like these guys got a bunch of stuff that they've committed to. But all these guys, look at the talent that's going to be in this movie. Ridiculous. And if it's a wild group of people that we're not expecting, then yeah, this is what's going to, it could be as simple as, well, we can't get Famke until, September, but we could film all the stuff around that now, and then we'll take a break and come back in September. That could be as simple as that, guys. Yep. And during that break, let's go do some location shooting. Let's get some scenery shots. Let's get those shots that we don't need the actor.
Oh, because they're still working on this. Even though 5 weeks cameras might not be rolling, that doesn't mean
they're not working.
Yes, concept art, writing things, the production, the 7 days they already did film, have the full visual effects done for all that stuff. They're getting all this stuff done like right away.
Yeah.
And
I really do think, guys, it's a nothing burger here. This is just the studio, that place that sees, oh no, they're only going to film for 3 weeks and then they're done for a while. There's got to be news here. We got to tell somebody. When really that's just our schedule right now. That's just what we're doing. Mm-hmm. It's got nothing to do with any of it. I really do think it's just a matter of, you got to think about the monumentalness of the film they're making. Mm-hmm. So I really think there's nothing to this. I think it's just, well, so what? They're taking a few weeks off. You don't know what they're doing. They could be filming somewhere else for a while.
They could be planning something big, and we have no idea. Yeah. So
production could have moved to a location, then they don't have to tell Pinewood where they're going. Pinewood just assumes that they all went home. Maybe they all flew somewhere else to do location shooting.
Yeah, because nothing's come out from Marvel and Disney that, hey, we're not in production anymore. They already know they're in production. Yeah. So,
I wouldn't sweat it, y'all. It's coming. Don't worry. And like I said, I think they took advantage of actors they had while they had them hey, by the way, will you change into that costume and do this scene real quick while you're here for a couple days? Because you're going to be in the next one. And they're like, yeah, that'll work because I can't when you want me to do it.
Yep.
Do it now.
Mm-hmm.
I think Magneto's, if Sir Ian McKellen is in Secret Wars, he's filmed his already.
He's done.
It's done.
Yeah, the filming he's about to
Guaranteed.
go into Lord of the Rings Gollum.
Yep.
One.
So and that's exactly why.
He doesn't have
he's
time
ready to now
do
go
both.
do that. Yep.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, he said, I'll be in both, but we got to film them all right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, okay.
Makes sense to me.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
That, and I think these movies are back to back. It's like, I mean, they did the same thing with Avengers Infinity War and Endgame.
Yep.
Do not get a mistake. There's some stuff that's in Endgame that they filmed while they did Infinity War, for sure. Yeah. Because it was just easy, you know? Yeah. Nothing burger, guys. There's no big deal. Don't worry about it. Until we start hearing from Marvel themselves that, oh no, we got a problem, I wouldn't worry about it.
All right. What do you guys think in the comments? Drop down and let us know. Do you think that this is a bigger deal? Do you think this is oh my gosh, everything's falling apart? Or do you think something good is happening? Or is this the plan all along and it's a nothing burger? Let us know in the comments below. All right. Well,
that does it for the news of the week, huh?
Concludes our Multiverse Minute. Let's roll on into the Rumormill Rundown.
All right. All right, guys, welcome to the Rumormill Rundown. This is my favorite one because we can speculate and say a lot of wild stuff, and I'll try not to bring up Danny DeVito this time.
No promises.
Yeah, no promises. We're going to make merch, guys, in our shirts, and on the back of it's going to be a thumbs up Danny DeVito picture. Anyways, we will have him on the podcast somehow, someday.
Somehow.
That would be awesome. I would love that.
Danny DeVito, if you're going to ending comic conventions, you let us know because we will come out and say.
Maybe when he finally makes that Twins movie with Arnold, the new one, like they have a great idea for that. So Eddie Murphy was going to be their long lost brother too, which I'm like, yes, do that movie so bad. Anyways. So we're going to go on with a Rumormill Rundown, guys. Remember, all this speculation. It's just rumors that are out there. We just picked the ones that we think would be interesting to talk about. And this first one is a winner. So I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. It's, so Doom Misdirect. Of course it is. Unveiled at the recent D23 was an alternate outfit for Dr. Doom, which was also shown in the new trailer. According to Comics Explained, this could actually lead to an RDJ misdirect. Perhaps the whole RDJ is back is the red herring, and the version of Downey's Doom is only partly in the film, while the official MCU Doom is planning all this out and will make his appearance in the film, thus explaining the second revealed costume. How far-fetched is this theory? Okay.
I love the creativity. I don't think this is happening.
It's ridiculous. I'm glad we're talking. It's like, it's almost one of those where I almost text you and was like, we're not talking about this. But then the other part of me is like, it's so ridiculous and it's getting so much traction.
Yeah.
It's like, we gotta talk about it.
We gotta mention it. Yeah.
Because I gotta tell you guys, this is dumb. No, it's not. Look, I could eat my words and they do this and it could be done well. And I'm like, wow, that was a great idea. I don't think that's what's happening here.
I agree. I feel like, so there's no rule that a character has to only have one costume throughout the whole movie. Some of these scenes that we've seen of him in that outfit that we know of could be flashback scenes, and he's wearing them when he was a tad little bit younger. Who knows? Some of these are like he's just needs something a little more fitting for the work he's about to do. We don't know. I don't think that this is as big of a deal. I mean, not too often do you see characters actually change costume, but let's face it, it's not like they can't.
Yeah, it's kind of like this idea of, it's like Thanos, right? There's a Thanos that has the tank top Thanos, and then there's a Thanos with his armor on. And when you watch a trailer, it's not going to be in order, and you see a scene of him with his armor on, ends up being the beginning of the movie. And when you watch a trailer, oh, look, he's going to have his armor on at the end. Oh, look, it's on him when he goes to attack Thor and everybody. And then it's off until the end of the movie again, right? Or not even, actually. I think it's off until we get to the next movie. We don't see his armor until we get to the end of Endgame again. Guys, this is Doom is in his I'm chillin' outfit. And when he's about to kick butt, he probably does something, and it all like, you know what I mean, like something cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll tell you what, I think they show you right in the trailer. That's exactly what happens.
I think his face, the mask too, is different. Which that's the only part that would throw me off, is that with what we know of Dr. Doom, it's so painful for him with his face. That's why he has the mask on, not only to hide the scars, but because of the pain. So if he has a completely different mask in both of these outfits, that's the only thing that holds water for me, is it's a different time you see him.
I think so.
But other than that, the cape part is nothing. That's a nothing burger. That's probably, like you said, a cool magic trick, and all of a sudden his outfit changes. That's it. But the mask is the only thing that throws me off. But
it could be part of it, though. It could be part of it. You know, that scene in the trailer that everyone's kind of looking at is that one where he comes flying out that building, and then he makes that cool landing, and he's got a different thing on than he does at the end when he's doing his stuff with the Sentinels, right?
Yeah.
So look, when you see him flying through the air, though, do you notice that he uses magic in the air to land? Like, he doesn't fly through the air and turn and catch himself. Like, dude, when you watch that trailer, it meshes into like a black fog, and it's like, it's almost like he does a trick right in midair. How do you know that's not him? You know, I'm suiting up real quick. You know what I mean? Like, Thor does it through a bolt of lightning. He can do it through magic, right? So, like, I think it's just you're reading too much into this. You know, I really do. I most likely you're seeing different time things going on. You're seeing Doom is here. Probably the Doom that wants you to believe him and trust him is all dressed nice and regal, and everything's great. And then when he's like, now it's time to kick butt, he's going to obviously wear his armor, and his armor probably looks different than his regular daily stuff. Maybe not, guys. Maybe there is a variant of Doom in this, but I do not think that Robert's a red herring, though. I think Robert Downey is the Doom in these next two movies, and I think he's retiring after the second one, which is another rumor that might be added on to another show episode. Yeah, I don't think there's much to this. I wouldn't like this twist if it was true. I got to be honest with you.
So, okay. Here's my 2 cents on it, and then I won't dwell on it for too much longer because it could be a huge conversation.
Right.
If you're still trying to wrap up the multiverse, and there are other actors that have played Doom before, to me, it's not that far-fetched that he's tried to create an army of Dooms, and he has Doom henchmen that maybe RDJ is playing what people are saying, the God Emperor Doom, like the top-notch, the top dog Dooms. But I mean, I know the one from the 2006 Fantastic Four movie passed away, unfortunately, because he was a fantastic Doom. Oh my gosh.
He actually was real good.
Oh, he was menacing when he wanted to be. I can't wait to do that retrospective someday, y'all. But there are 2 other versions of Dooms, actor-wise, are out there that he easily could have recruited one of them to be part of this.
Or could be a whole one you never even met before. Yeah.
Exactly. Kind of like RDJ's a whole one we haven't met before. It could be the MCU Doom that's working with him. We just don't know. I feel like that brings more questions than anything. But for multiverse stuff, I'm not taking anything off the table. It could be that not Toby Keith. What's his name? That's
the one that's in the real bad one?
Yes.
Yeah, I doubt it, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It could be him. Like, this is your redemption movie. Let's come in. Yeah.
Just don't do it.
Yeah, but
yeah. I just don't see a way that this can be done that is, if it's true and Robert's just a ruse this whole time, I feel like it would be out of taste and not classy. I think they really want us to have Robert Downey. I mean, and that when we hear his voice doing it, how pissed would we be if we get in there and it's like only 5 minutes of the movie and then he's, oh yeah, by the way, it's not Robert. Don't worry about it. I'd be like, come on, you're just selling me on being okay with it. Like, it took me a while to finally say, you know what? I'm actually fine with this being Robert. I've actually turned to the point where I'm actually okay if they don't show his face. I'm still going to wonder why you want to pay that much money for someone to not show their face, especially with other talented guys that could do it. But you're selling me on the idea that Robert he must have had a great pitch. They must have said, what do you think? And he come in, look, I got the accent. And he just gives them a line. And they're like, holy cow, we have to now. So that's the only way. To me, it's like, okay, I get it. I get it. When something fits and it works well, right? And I think maybe Robert is that idea of, that and then having you in the promotion will show everybody that's going to put butts in the seats, right? But to fake us out like that, no way, guys. I really think if you want us to be all in on Robert, I think that they knew that was going to be a hard sell. And then to turn around and have it where it's not going to be him anyways, I think would be just kind of a slap in our face. Because it has been a hard sell for me personally. I never liked the idea from the start. And I'm just coming along to you know what? I'm good with it. I like it. Because of what we're seeing. Then if we get into the movie and it's not him, I'm like, poo. That's bull crap, man. Like, I would not be happy. So now I'm expecting Robert to do this. Then David Harbour kind of made a slip the other day, and I think that I am 100% convinced that him looking like Robert Downey Jr. or looking like Tony Stark is going to play a role in this somehow. Might not be this movie, might be more Secret Wars, but it's going to be before this multiverse saga is ending. It's going to play a role because he and Chris were very funny and nonchalant about don't answer that question. But then David Harbour just the other day kind of slipped out. One of his favorite lines that he has in Doomsday is something about when he says I'm Doom and he gets to say, no, you're Tony Stark. And it's like, whoa, that's a big one, which maybe we'll put it in next week so we can talk about that, guys. But that is something that has been online. So that he kind of just said that. And it's like, okay. So I think it is. I do think that there is a play. I think it's part of the story. Now, like I said, is there a variant? Is there others? That to me is fine. But don't jip us on. I want Robert now. Don't do that. Don't do this. Yeah, that's how I feel.
All right. Well, guys, how do you feel? Do you think that this is a red herring RDJ misdirect? Or do you think that there is a variant Dr. Doom that's out there that's going to be working alongside RDJ?
Yep. I'll tell you what, if he takes off that mask and it's not RDJ, it better be Danny DeVito.
Let us know in the comments below, guys. All right. So I'll read to you the next one then. Doctor Strange 3 was repurposed into Doomsday? Well, that might not be so far-fetched. So, guys, a huge rumor discussed by the Cosmic Wonder, shout out to you, we watch you, dude, makes claims that the story beats of Avengers Doomsday are actually repurposed plot points of the original Doctor Strange 3 before pivoting to Doctor Doom as the MCU's Multiverse Saga's big bad. This theory suggests that instead of the original Doctor Strange 3 plot of Doctor Strange helping Clea simply fend off an incursion, Clea would actually lead Strange to Doom, and Strange's corrupted mind from the Darkhold influence will lead him to partner with Doom and become Doom's right-hand man. What are your thoughts? I feel like this is actually a valid rumor. I've talked about this before on the podcast that I feel like a big missed opportunity was setting up a Doctor Strange 3 and with all the possibilities of how epic that could be just from their post-credit scene alone. And then all of a sudden we're not doing it anymore. And then they pivot to Doom. And now with all the rumors of all the witches coming out to help Doom and actual images of what Doom's right-hand man's armor looks like, I feel like this is a rumor that was easily constructed because I think that it was a story already there, just pieces that weren't put together yet. I feel like this is legit. So what are your thoughts, Ike?
I believe in half of this.
Okay.
I think it's true that they had a Doctor Doom 3 planned. They ended that Doctor Strange plan. And they ended Doctor Strange 2 with that plan in mind. And then that plan changed. The other half of it though is I think they're just gonna chalk it up is that he's been helping him the whole time and waiting for these events to happen. My theory of Doctor Strange being on board of letting Doom fix the multiverse and save everybody, I think comes from Infinity War. I think it comes from him looking into the future. And you know what's even a big brain smart part of that I really like that once I do this, I'm going to do parts on that, guys, to explain that more like I did with the Jean Grey thing, which check those out, guys. They're real fun and cool. But I think it's even smarter because I think Doctor Strange knows that he has to set things up in order for Doom to win, to save everybody's lives, but then Doom has to lose afterwards because we can't let Doom be the one in charge when it's all done. And I think that's why we have these characters like Spider-Man, all that being pulled in different directions and what's going on. But what's even more big brain about it is Doctor Strange knows that his own mind is going to be corrupted once he helps Doom, because Doom's going to make everybody forget and he's going to be one of them. So Doctor Strange has to set it up so even the heroes that he does set up to come help him are saving him as well, because he's not afraid to go that far with it. Because he looked into the future and saw that he got dusted, which means he can look into the future and see, I'm going to help Doom. In helping Doom, I'm going to get corrupted by Doom, and I'm going to become a bad guy, but I'm going to make sure these dudes are going to come back with their memories and bring me back, and everything's going to be better. I think that's what's happening. I think that's exactly how it's going to go, and I really hope it does. I would put money on it. And I think a lot of it did come from, well, we can't do that Doctor Strange 3 anymore. So let's just have him, because when she shows up at the end, you could really chalk that up to like, he was kind of like, all right, let's go. And it's a lot of it could have been like, yeah, he knew this was coming. It's just when, right? He had to let the events happen. He needed to get the third eye. All that kind of stuff had to happen, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a coincidence that we see that henchman next to Doom in these new pictures with that hole in the middle of the, yeah, come on, guys. You're going to find that Strange helps Doom do this. In doing so, Doom turns Strange, like also brainwashes him, but Strange set it up so heroes will save everybody. And he's just trusting that it's going to happen. Just like he trusted it would happen when he got dusted with Thanos.
He could be the big savior in Secret Wars.
I mean, that would make it real interesting, right? That, like I said, I really think it, the upcoming thing, he says, what does he tell Tony on? He goes, I've went and looked through 14 million and so many, of our upcoming conflict, and we only win one. He's not very specific of what you're talking about. Because I've heard a lot of people say, well, why didn't you just cut Thanos' arm off with the sling ring, like the Wand did with that other guy? So because it needs to happen a certain way. And that's for that movie, but also going forward, right? So, yeah, I think we're going to find out that would fix the multiverse. We all feel better about the crap we got. Oh, it actually makes sense why that was crappy, because he had to do this.
There you go.
Right?
All right. So, guys, what do you think about this? Do you think the Doctor Strange 3 was repurposed into Doomsday, the back plot of it? Do you think not? Do you think there still is a movie like that out there that could be made? Let us know in the comments below. Could be the reason why they delayed Secret Wars for about 5 weeks filming. They're like,
oh my God,
we need Doctor Strange. No, just
maybe they've heard us talk about this, and they're like, you know what? That is a genius idea.
They're like, all right, back to the drawing board.
We need to take a break and just go talk to Mr. Benedict Cumberbatchers and be like, hey man, what do you think? And he's gonna be like, yeah, why not?
Yep, I hear you. Instead of Cumberbatch, Cumberfield.
Yeah, because I think. It's a conspiracy. I think we're going to find out that some characters in all these movies, like when they do that 50-year anniversary thing and we get like a 4-hour documentary behind the scenes, there's a couple actors that they've told a lot of the plot to. And you know who I'm thinking of? I'm thinking Benedict is one of them.
Yep.
And I think Tom Hiddleston's the other. Because he was in the past, was like, he even admitted in one interview back before Infinity War came, he's like, yeah, they've actually told me a lot of what's going to happen next because of, just where my place is in it, which makes sense because when you look at it,
yeah.
And these guys are, I think, in for the long haul.
Yeah.
In the long run, right? So, yeah, I think wink, wink, Benedict knows a hell of a lot more than we think he knows. He's good at not saying a word.
Oh, yes.
He's just like, you're just not going to get it from him. Yeah.
All right. So, Ike, take it away for our last rumor.
Okay, this one sucks, guys. This is going to be...
Everyone's talking about it.
Let me pull some short clips out of this one. So, Lee Pace and Henry Cavill as Magneto. What the hell? Lee Pace is a massive favorite. From who? Anyway, is a massive favorite among fans for Magneto. I'm going to try to get through it. All right, anyway. Magneto with continuous social media campaigns While Pace is already known in the MCU for playing the villain Pouty Face Ronan, the Accuser in Guardians of the Galaxy, Marvel has previously reused actors for different roles, of course. Meanwhile, Henry Cavill is said to be up for the major MCU role, and the speculation of him taking on Magneto has made the rounds on the internet. And as we know, if the internet says it's true, then it must be real. Who will don the helmet? Now, was there a third involved that you had text me?
There is a third.
Which is just as ridiculous.
I didn't mention it in this rumor thing because it's not, unfortunately, I'm sorry for the actor, it's not that juicy as these two would be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone, see, Henry Cavill has been rumored for a long time to be joining the MCU. And there's been according to insiders, it's kind of like the Adam Driver thing, where they've approached him and he's talked to them multiple times. And part of that proof is Deadpool and Wolverine, when he cameoed as a Wolverine. So he has apparently been talking with Marvel for a long time about specific characters he could play, and he's been passing it off. But there's optimism within the insider community that Henry Cavill actually now has accepted a role and could be a mutant. Now, there's speculation on if he's Magneto, which that's why we're talking about the Magneto part of things. The main reason I feel like we're talking about Magneto part of things is because, one, Deadline has confirmed Magneto will be in this movie. He's just not revealed yet. And the cast hasn't been revealed yet. And two, there's this huge campaign online to repurpose Lee Pace into Magneto. And so his name got brought up again, Henry Cavill. But there's also been rumor that Henry Cavill will be the Beyonder in Secret Wars. Huge speculation of him. Might be a little on the nose, but to be Captain Britain.
Actually fits real well, though.
The only problem with the Captain Britain part is he's a little too similar to Superman, and I feel like they don't want to replay that trope.
Yeah, I agree.
But, I mean, him as Magneto? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
I got to roll for him. You're going to like my two choices.
Okay.
Actually, you really like them. But anyway, no to all three of these people. The other one's Matt Smith, right?
Yeah, I think he's from
Game of Thrones.
Yes, Game of Thrones.
He did it. Yeah, no, please no. Matt, you're a great actor. You're good in those things, but that would be no. Anyways,
Magneto's a certain tier. Sorry.
Yeah. None of these actors are bad actors. Okay, I think Lee Pace is good. I didn't like Ronan, but that is not. It's not because he's a bad actor. Okay, guys, it's the choices for the role, the choices of the writing of it. I wasn't a fan. Go watch your retrospective. You'll see why. I don't want him as Magneto, though, either. This is me taking a little bit of ownership. Sorry. I'm going to admit. I think that there's better not younger, but better talent that can be served in this role. I think that you need to take a good look at our Xavier, and that's going to give you more of an insight of where they might go for a Magneto, because those two need to work really well. And I don't see any of these guys having the chemistry with this guy.
Well, and for that reason, I don't think they want Magneto to outshine Xavier. They need to be on equal par.
Correct.
And now that you've announced who is Xavier, no offense, Henry Cavill, but you are going to take up the oxygen in the room.
Way better. He's way more recognizable.
I love you. That's why.
Yeah.
Everyone loves you.
100%.
You know?
Yep. I think he's way more recognizable. I think I think you need to have a role for him that's going to stand out somewhat when he does. Or one that's just sided enough, but still big enough to be like, that's cool that he's in it, if there's a cool story for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
With that, I'm going to say this is all poo-poo bullcrap. I do think that we are going to see Magneto in the X-Men movie. I think it's more likely either a part at the end or in the middle, but it's going to be small, or it's a post-credit scene of introducing him. I think they're going to be smart and not do the Magneto thing until the next movie, but we're going to know who our Magneto is before X-Men is done, whether it's when it comes out or before it comes out. I do think we'll know who it is. I think that for them, it'd be genius to not reveal it till the post-credit scene. Just have the back shot of him. He's standing there giving some sort of monologue, and then he turns and we see who it is. And we go nuts. Like, why not? We'd all lose our minds, right? So I think that's for me, that's how I would do this. I think this is too small of a role, but a good role for him if in the storyline made sense. He'd be a great Colossus in X-Men. He'd be fantastic as Colossus. Big, strong-looking muscles. Throw that Russian accent on that he's done in some other movies and just let it be. And just you see him all metal up and stuff. But I have a better role for him that I think even fits better, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I think whoever Wolverine's going to be, he'd make a great Sabretooth.
So it's funny that you mentioned Colossus because in my brain, if he's going to play a mutant, yes, Sabretooth is definitely on the list for me. I think that would be really cool. Also, playing Omega Red.
It just hit me.
That, I think, would be
How
really
awesome
cool.
would he be as Omega Red?
Now, that would be worth it.
It literally just hit me. Just now. I'm like,
yeah,
you saw me?
When you said Colossus, I was thinking, you know what? No, but Omega Red. Just saying. He would look good playing a Russian. Anyways, that's just my opinion on that.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah. See, I don't see him playing a Colossus. That's one of the, because again, for the X-Men,
it'd be neat.
It'd be neat. And you know what? He honestly, he would be neat playing Magneto, but with who they've casted already, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I agree.
And so it's like
now if Patrick Wilson if they actually gave the role to Patrick Wilson as Xavier, then I'd say, hey, that's not a bad team up right there, them two. I just don't see him and this other guy. But maybe it is. Most likely, guys, here's the truth of the whole thing. Most likely, he's never going to be in the MCU other than as a cameo, much like John Krasinski did. Because I think when everyone wanted him as Mr. Fantastic, they did it for fun. And why not as a nod to the multiversal thing by having him come in as Reed and then just killed him. And that's all you're ever going to see of him in the MCU. You know what I'm saying? Well, maybe, who knows? Secret Wars could be crazy, right? But I don't think it's nothing that's going to continue on. You know what I mean? I think that his nod of everybody talking about me being in this and being Wolverine, I'll do it for a scene for fun. There you go, guys. See you later. I think that's what this is. I don't think it's anything more than that.
I wouldn't be surprised, though, it is like an Adam Driver thing where after years of negotiations and talk and all that, it's like, all right, we found the right role for you. Yeah. And there you go. And now we got Adam Driver in the MCU as Sinister, like a big, prestigious role. He could just be building up that momentum to be like when he comes.
Perfect.
There you go.
Doesn't it feel perfect? I would have had him in either one of those roles.
I was a little surprised. I honestly, I love the fan art of Adam Driver as Magneto. He looks like a good Magneto.
But the fan art of him as Sinister is just as good.
I'm curious about the fan art of Sinister, honestly. I'm not as sold on it as some people. I don't think it's bad. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But when you see how Sinister is depicted multiple times in different iterations, I don't see the Adam Driver look to it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean he's not going to play a great role. I'm actually anticipating to see what that's going to look like.
Yeah,
Finally, we get Sinister, so I'm happy for that.
And they're aware of the meta-ness of what we want and expect. Because look how they announced him as Sinister. He literally was like, I'm Magneto. Oh, wait.
What would you say?
You know what I'm saying? Like, they are aware that we're thinking of this guy so much. Like,
what would you say if Henry Cavill is Apocalypse?
Oh, yeah, I'm down. Yeah. My first pick is Tom Hardy, but him, yeah, I'm down.
Because I could see his stature, his deep voice that he can have, the jawline, all that stuff, that they could be able to do the facial recognitions and all that. And he is a presence as an actor and also as a character. That's one thing to why they've waited so long for Adam Driver is because they found a character that would be presentful enough for him. In an actor of his caliber, they find a character that's like that. That would be kind of epic.
My first ask, I'd be knocking on Tom Hardy's door first. Like, come be mean and do this. And the thing is, I think Tom would say no, for one. But for two, his intensity is intense. And you don't see it you don't see that intensity in, what's the one he's in? Venom. You guys go watch him as Bane. I don't give a crap what y'all say when you're talking about him playing Bane. Super intense. Now just kind of take a little bit of that same little magic and he's going to do a lot of different stuff. But if it come down to him saying no, I think my next door would be Henry Cavill's. Yeah. If someone say, hey, what about Henry? He wouldn't mind playing that villain. I'd be like, hell yeah. He's big. He's menacing. He could do it. Yep. We haven't seen him really play a bad guy.
Not like this, too.
Not like this. I mean, maybe he'd have so much fun just being evil. That'd be great. I'd be in on it for sure. For sure.
All right. So, guys, what do you think? Who do you think is going to be Magneto? Are you one of those fans that thinks that Lee Pace should be repurposed into Magneto? Or are you someone who's a fan of Henry Cavill and think, oh, he should be it? Or do you have someone completely different that probably is more in line with the caliber that they're looking for Xavier Magneto team up? Because let's be honest, we've been spoiled with the 2 team ups we've had so far. Let us know in the comments below.
Agreed.
All right. So, guys, we're going to jump into our next segment. We are back to a Branchpoint breakdown of a TV show, but this time we're tackling DC.
I know.
We're doing The Lantern, Season 1, Episode 1, The Pilot. So, let's get to it.
Hello, guys. Welcome to our Branchpoint Breakdown. Boy, it's been a while since we did one of these. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we're here talking about a DC show. And we're probably only going to do about 2 or 3 of these, because the next one of this, we're going to do like a few episodes mixed in. Like we're going to talk about more than one. But I figured, and Sammy and I figured we should do the first one, at least the pilot, and see what we think. So Sammy's going to read the synopsis to you, and then we're going to talk about our thoughts. And sorry, guys, if this ends up being kind of brief. It doesn't have anything to do with whether it was good or not. It's not a ton to talk about, but it's something to talk about at least.
Okay. So, yes, I completely agree with everything you just said. And spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this first episode yet, I am going to read to you a breakdown of that first episode. So you've been warned. And here we go. Years ago, Hal Jordan is chosen as a successor of Green Lantern Abin Sur after he crashes his ship and dies. In 2016, Hal and Jon Stewart have a mentor-mentee relationship and travel to Rushville, Nebraska, after Jon receives a cryptic message from a holographic projection of Hal's younger consciousness within his ring. Jon helps Sheriff Carrie Kane capture a suspect involved in a mass shooting, but Carrie forbids Hal from joining the investigation, believing the case has no extraterrestrial connection. Hal gets himself arrested in a bar fight and is bailed out by a lawyer and Carrie's husband, Billy McCon. In return, he agrees to meet Carrie's father-in-law, William, who arranges for Hal to interrogate the suspect, Waylon Sanders. During the interrogation, Hal exposes Sanders as an alien. Sanders detonates a bomb in his body, but Hal uses his last of his ring's power to contain the damage. In 2026, Jon returns to Rushville, where Carrie shows him a dead and frozen Hal, who is also missing his ring. So, wow.
Yeah.
I will be honest, on my first initial reaction to this, I did not expect the show to hit this hard. It's not mind-blowing, but it's Green Lanterns for me have been, of all the DC stuff, there's a lot of DC stuff that's not my, I would say, cup of tea, so to speak. That's why Marvel for me is a little more universal in all their characters. I find some either relatability or quality that I really like them. I haven't seen that with the Green Lanterns, but I like the story that they're starting with this show. It's a unique twist of mentoring Jon Stewart and seeing Hal Jordan. Great actors too. Yeah, it's a banger of a pilot.
Yeah,
that's what I'll say about it.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, I like the tone. So I'm a big fan of mystery shows anyways. This has got a little mix of like True Detective and in it. It's got that kind of like, who did what, killer, or this or that. And this has that feeling, right? It brings up more questions than answers. Can it keep this pace and stay this interesting? I think will be the question. This also is proof to kind of a story we talked about earlier in this episode, guys, of if this is the kind of stuff they're talking about on this roundtable, everyone's complaining that they keep ditching other things, but then this was one of those things that came from that. What are you worried about? This is good. This is fun. This is good stuff. It's doesn't feel like Superman exists in this world, though. I'll tell you that. So, like, I think it's interesting that they are when he says we're going to go a different direction, sometimes it still feels it, but we still see the different direction. No, this feels like it's not part of anything, right? But you know what? It is going to be, obviously. We know it is. So I think that's what makes it interesting. I think it was the pacing of it, needed some work. I'll just tell you a couple things I really like. I like the time jump with this whole idea at the end when we get to what we see. I think there's some questions there. It's interesting that John was the one that was chosen as successor of the ring, but here Hal is dead and John doesn't have the ring. So it's kind of like, ooh, what's that mean? But from what I understand, Lanterns, the rings also have like a mind of their own, right? So there could be a reason why.
The ring chooses people.
Right. It chooses. Yeah, that's right. And, yeah, I mean, I think the chemistry of these two actors is real good. I like this rough cop, newbie cop, and they're kind of like button heads. I like this. And Kyle Chandler plays a real great guy who is just rough and tough around the edges. I think he does a real good job. Yeah. Is there anything in this that sticks out to you, Sammy, that I can't think of scenes that stick out? Because here's the problem with this is a great introduction of this is what you're getting into. But like I said, it raises more questions than answers anything. All I can say is I think that they're very daring on the scenes that they show and the stuff that they do show.
Mm-hmm.
And to show him dead at the end is that's awesome, because it's like, how do we get to that now that we know how it's going to turn out? I actually like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very smart. It doesn't leave you with this whole, ooh, what's it mean? Somebody's going to have to die if this is going to be passed on. So, well, guess what? He is dead. Like, so now look what's going on. I don't think it's a red herring either. I think he's really dead. Like, I think he's dead. I think the story is going to be why the ring didn't go where it was supposed to, right? Or where it was prophesized to.
And what happened to lead up to him actually dying.
Right, exactly. Yeah, in the circumstances to it.
Mm-hmm. I will say, I like the display of powers that they do in this episode. I like that they use it for mundane things like making a dollar bill, things like that.
Because we would.
Making the ring be the lighter for that one girl in the car and all that. I thought that was pretty interesting. And I like the display of powers, like when Hal hears of Nebraska, he immediately starts flying away. I'm like, wow. That's cool. And I like his outfit with the Green Lantern outfit when you do see it. I think that's really cool how they designed it.
Yep, looks good.
I am very intrigued on the story personally. I will say my favorite of the Green Lanterns, if I had to pick a favorite, because like I said, Green Lantern's not really my cup of tea, but my favorite of them is Jon Stewart from the cartoons and from the stuff I do know of the comics, which is very, very little compared to Marvel stuff. I like Jon Stewart, and I like that they're setting this up with the origin of Jon Stewart's Green Lantern has to do with Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
I think that's really interesting and unique, in this aspect at least. So I'm curious to see how this is going to go.
Yeah. I think the problem we have with this, guys, I will say, is this is interesting now, but if it stays too convoluted and too mysterious without breadcrumbs that really make you feel like you're along for the ride, then it's going to get old.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing, if they keep comparing this to True Detective, and it's not quite that dark. But if you're going to keep saying it like that, and it's a mystery that's like True Detective, then I hope they watched it then, because something True Detective does real well is you're in for the ride of the mystery, but you could solve it without them telling you, if that makes any sense. And that was my problem with the Ant-Man 2 movie, or some of those, where there's no mystery to be done here. There's another one we talked about it was like a mystery. Oh, it was kind of like it was with Miss Marvel, Miss Marvel, or
Captain Marvel?
Captain Marvel. Thank you. Jeez.
Yes.
All the Marvels. Anyways, Captain Marvel, where that was like a kind of a mystery movie in its own way, but it was you were only there witnessing what they're going to find out. You're not finding things out for yourself. When True Detective, it had this beautiful balance of there are some things you're not going to know until they want you to know it, and it will be a twist. and you do find it out with your characters, but there's some things that they tell and say that later on, when you find out what the twist is, they kind of told you already. And you're like, oh, that's right in your face, And sometimes these mystery shows that we have a mystery. Is it a hands-on mystery, or is it we're going to find out when they find out, no matter what? And that's where the judge is out still for me. This is interesting. I just hope they give us enough information to where you feel like you're part of this. Because if not, then it's just going to be, you don't know anything until you get to it. And that makes the rewatchability part of it really suck. A good example, I'll throw this out there for the hell of it. 7, when we watched 7, and we did that with Mom. When you watch that movie, they put stuff in it enough to make you kind of go, okay, this is where this is going, without them telling you,
Mm-hmm.
Clearly you weren't going to guess who John Doe was because you never saw him before. But you even said, you're like, yeah, I kind of saw that ending coming because they wanted you to, but yet at the same time, if you didn't see it, we're still going to surprise you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like almost like it was like a double, like, yeah, we want you to feel like you're part of this with them, but yet still be in the dark with them. And that's a fine line when you're making a mystery movie. Go watch Glass Onion, Knives Out. And they did a third one to that with Chris Evans is in the first one, Knives Out. Watch those because those are the same way. You can watch them, and if you're watching careful enough, you could figure it out. And that's cool. I like that. Because if not, then you're just watching things until it makes sense. And that's good the first time, but the second time is boring as hell. See, at least now if you went and watch 7 again, you're going to see some stuff and be like, oh, yeah, look at that. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to be like, I get this now. I see where that was coming from. 7's a worse example, but like, True Detective's the perfect example. You can watch all 8 episodes of True Detective and get to the end and just your mind is just blown about the journey you just went on, right? But then you go rewatch it and you realize, oh my God, the killer is like in the 2nd episode. He's right there talking to him. And you're just like, what? And they're telling you what happened and what's going on. It's like literally things are just in your face. But it's just like in True Detective, like they say, it's like it's most big cases are solved when it's that one thing that you overlooked and didn't realize. And it comes down to a color of a house and when it was painted when they busted out the case at the end of that movie, of that show. Something as simple as that. And I want this to do the same thing. I want to get to the end of this and feel like I went on this journey with them and they gave me enough information where I can do this too and be a part of it. Because unfortunately, they're in a world where there's aliens and a lot of stuff going on. So if they just want something to come in and be a MacGuffin of, oh, this is the thing you didn't know and you'd have never known because it's alien, it's like, oh, this is going to get boring. So this has great potential, but it also might be too good for its shorts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It might outgrow its own pants if they're not careful. So don't be too smart if you're not going to be smart. Like, this is smart now, but if we get to the end and it's not anymore because it's too smart, it's like, okay, whatever. That's going to be boring as hell for me.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. I'm in right now. I can't wait to see the next one. I like it. It's wild. There's like 14 different species of aliens. Whoa. You know what I mean? Like, there's some really weird, crazy stuff going on.
That's only the ones, from my understanding, that's the 14 species of aliens that can actually come
to Earth.
To Earth and look like human.
Right. That's just that. Yeah, right.
So
that's not counting the rest that's out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fine because I understand the lantern thing is a whole thing, right? But making it this, like, let's keep it simple. I kind of hope we get to the end and it's not as significant to why he died. I hope it is something that makes you go, oh, wow. It's almost tragic that, wow, it wasn't some big orchestrated cosmic thing that you have to just witness instead of learn. I think that would be a unique twist to this story.
I agree.
Like, what if he does just get killed by some Joe Schmo of whatever's happened, and you're like, whoa, did not see that coming. You know what I mean? I think that'd be very interesting. So that's just me. This is great, but man, it could outgrow its pants quick. So let's hope it doesn't do that.
I agree. I really don't have too much to say on this episode myself. Other than it's a great first episode. It surprised me with how well it is good, and I hope they live up to that hype that you're talking about, honestly. It's a lot more mature than I thought it was going to be for a show. I thought it was just a generic TV show type thing, but no, they've got a lot. This is not one you want to put on for your kids. Let's just say that.
No, this isn't a family friendly show.
No, but I like the story that they're telling. I like the dynamic between Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, and I'm curious to see how their relationship develops as the season goes on. And yeah, I am curious to stick it through. So I'm glad that we have this part of our Branchpoint Breakdown, but also we got a lot on our March to Doomsday, so that's why we kind of broke this up a little bit, where we're reviewing right now the first episode, our initial thoughts on it, and then wait 2 or 3 more episodes, and we're going to do a whole Branchpoint Breakdown on just those episodes and see what's going on. So.
Since this is our review section, I might take a second, not to get away from Lanterns. I know that we committed to the Lanterns part of this, but I think we've pretty much said what we need to say about it. Something I want to just point out to you that I forgot to tell you, I wanted to tell you on the pod because we've talked about it on the pod before. Something I've been watching on Netflix. I've been watching the new season of Beef.
Okay, yes.
And why I bring that up is, since this is a review section, I think it's appropriate just to have a quick little back and forth about it. When you're talking X-Men, right? I see the writers of The Bear and the writers of Beef are writing X-Men, which, once again, like I've explained The Bear to you a lot. I've even shown you some clips. And the director of Beef and the writers of Beef, it's Jake Schreier who's doing X-Men, right? What an incredible season of that show right now, Beef. It's wild. And all I got to say, just for a quick little review thing, not about that show specifically, I'm not going to get into details because it's not what we talk about in this pod. We're not talking about that. But what I will say, if he brings that style, those writers that combined with the Bear writers, which is real deep emotional stuff, with Beef's unpredictable, I cannot believe we're going there kind of thing. And then with Jake's style of how he's directed Beef so far, wow. If this is what X-Men might be like, a little mix of these, man, guys, we're in for a treat. Because that means chances are going to be taken, leaps are going to be taken, characters are going to be taken seriously. This season of Beef is incredible. I highly suggest it. Watch it, guys. It's incredible. The acting, the cinematography is amazing. The direction's great. The story is just, I mean, I'm only on episode 4 and it ended one of those episodes where I'm like, what the hell just happened? You know what I mean? Like, and it's almost every episode, but it never feels like it goes over a line that makes you go, oh, now you're just doing it as a gimmick. It doesn't feel like a gimmick. It's a build on a build on a build. And so I just wanted to throw that out there in the review section. You know, if you do get the chance to watch it, at least just so you know, from my point of view, X-Men's in good hands, I think, from what I'm seeing. So obviously it's not going to be as adult as these two shows are because it's X-Men and MCU. But boy, if you bring it just a taste of the seriousness to it, man, it's going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
So, other than that, watch Lanterns, guys. Jump in with us. I didn't mean to take the smoke away from Lanterns. I just wanted to throw it in there. This is the best time to do it. But yeah, I can't wait to see next episode. We'll have a good time with it. See how it goes. Let's hope they deliver on what they're promising here.
Yeah, I agree. I hope this is a win for DC. I really do. So far, I'm liking it. So, guys, what do you think of this first episode? What's your rating for it so far? You heard our initial thoughts on it. Are you going to stick with the episodes, or are you just going to wait till the Goodell Multiverse gives you a retrospective? Let us know in the comments below. We really do want to know your thoughts. All right, what are we moving on to next then, Ike?
Next is our main event, guys. We're going to be doing our retrospective breakdown of Spider-Man Far From Home.
Woo!
Ooh-wee.
All right, here we go. Okay, everybody, it's that time of the episode where we get into the big guy. And this is a big one. This is Spider-Man Far From Home, the second MCU Spider-Man movie. So, gosh, Ike, why don't you just start off with giving us a little bit of a history behind the film, and we're going to jump right into this guy.
You got it, guys. Movie is Spider-Man Far From Home. I like that all the titles have home in them. That's kind of cool, the first 3 at least. Release date, July 2nd, 2019. Main cast, Thomas of the Holland, Zendaya, Jacob John Favreau. I'm just going to move on. Marissa Tomei, Samuel L. Jackson, or is it? Colby Smulders, or is it? And Jake Gyllenhaal. History behind the film, guys, is the development of Spider-Man Far From Home began almost immediately after Spider-Man Homecoming. A what? with Marvel Studios and Sony wanting to continue Tom Holland's version of Peter Parker while also using the sequel to deal directly with the enormous consequences of Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. By the time filming began in 2018, the MCU was approaching the end of the first major saga. With Black Panther, Avengers Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Captain Marvel either released or in production, Far From Home was ultimately postponed as the final film of the Infinity Saga, meaning it had the unusual responsibility of functioning both as a Spider-Man sequel and an epilogue to the first 23-film chapter of the MCU. The filmmakers wanted Peter to be dealing with the death of Tony Stark, when we all were, while simultaneously trying to return to being an ordinary teenager. Director John Watts returned after Homecoming along with Tom Holland, Zendaya, Jacob Batalon, Marissa Tomei, Jon Favreau, and other members of Peter's supporting cast. Holland had gone from being a relatively unknown teenager when he was cast as Spider-Man to one of Hollywood's biggest young stars, while Zendaya was rapidly becoming a major actress and performer of her own. The film also brought back Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury and Colby Smulders as Maria Hill, further emphasizing that Peter was now firmly woven into the larger MCU. One of the most interesting decisions was taking Spider-Man out of New York and sending him on a European school trip. The idea actually came from John Watts during the Homecoming press tour. While in Rome, Watts looked across at a rooftop and saw a stunt performer wearing the full Spider-Man costume with his city behind him. He had immediately thought that the image of Spider-Man against a European backdrop looked like something audiences would want to see in a movie. That simple visual planted the seed for the European vacation concept. The filmmakers ultimately designed the movie as a combination of a teenage coming-of-age vacation film and a globe-trotting espionage adventure, taking Peter and his classmates through Venice, Prague, Berlin, London, and other European locations. This also gave the sequel a visual identity completely different from Homecoming, while allowing Peter to experience the world outside of Queens for the first time. The European trip wasn't originally conceived simply as a way to make the movie bigger. It was intended to put Peter somewhere unfamiliar and make him feel even more isolated after losing Tony. The choice of Mysterio as a villain was made very early in development. John Watts and the writers wanted to use one of Spider-Man's most iconic villains who had never appeared in a live-action Spider-Man film, and Mysterio's comic book ability to manipulate perception were particularly useful for the story they wanted to tell. Rather than simply making Quentin Beck a guy in a fishbowl helmet using smoke and explosives, Marvel reimagined him as a former Stark Industries employee and special effects expert who could use advanced drones and holographic technology to create seemingly supernatural threats. Watts specifically explained that the character's original comic book gimmick needed to be modernized, but the filmmakers wanted to preserve the essence of Mysterio. You cannot trust what you are seeing. That made him an ideal villain for a post-Endgame story because Peter was grieving Tony Stark and desperately looking for someone capable of filling the enormous void Tony had left behind. Jake Gyllenhaal was a great cast as Quentin Beck, bringing considerable dramatic credibility and charisma to the heroic Mysterio before revealing his deception. The filmmakers... I skipped the line there. Credibility and charisma to the role, which was essential because the movie needed audiences to generally believe that Beck was the heroic Mysterio before revealing his deception. The filmmakers also used Mysterio's ability to create the film's spectacular illusion sequence, including the surreal nightmare involving zombie Iron Man, which Watts described as one of the primary reasons Mysterio was such an exciting villain to use. Behind the scenes, maintaining the secrecy surrounding the movie was extraordinarily difficult because the film directly followed Avengers Endgame. Marvel knew that revealing Tony Stark's death, the 5-year time jump, or Mysterio's true identity too early could spoil enormous parts of the MCU's future. John Watts joked that the scripts were so heavily redacted that they looked like leaked CIA documents. Tom Holland's reputation for accidentally revealing Marvel secrets also became a running joke during production, so the filmmakers frequently operated on a strict need-to-know basis. Production took place across Europe, the United Kingdom, and Czech Republic, and the United States, with Venice, Prague, London, and other locations providing real-world environments rather than relying entirely on studio sets. The movie also introduced several new Spider-Man costumes, including the black stealth suit supplied by Fury and Peter's eventual upgraded red and black suit, reflecting Peter's gradual movement away from Tony Stark's technological shadow and toward becoming his own hero. Perhaps the most important part of the movie story was determining how Peter would respond to Tony Stark's death. Homecoming had deliberately established Tony as a mentor and surrogate father figure, while Endgame removed him from Peter's life. Far From Home, therefore, became a story about Peter learning that he cannot simply replace Tony or wait for another adult to tell him what to do. The film repeatedly presents him with opportunities to hand responsibility to Nick Fury, Mysterio, or Tony's technology, but ultimately Peter has to trust in his own instincts. This culminates to the famous sequence where he uses the enhanced Peter Tangle to fight Mysterio's drones without relying on his vision. Technically or externally guidance, his vision, technically or technologically or external guidance. Sorry, guys. In that sense, the movie completes Peter's first MCU character arc. He begins as a kid, desperately trying to become an Avenger, and ends as a hero capable of standing on his own. When Spider-Man Far From Home was released in July 2019, it received generally positive reviews and became an enormous commercial success. It currently holds a 91% critic score and a 95% verified audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. The film ultimately grossed approximately $1.13 billion worldwide against a reported $160 million production budget, making it the first Spider-Man film to cross the $1 billion mark. Its success was particularly significant because it was released only a few months after Avengers Endgame and demonstrated that the MCU could move beyond the original Avengers without immediately abandoning its established characters. The film's final post-credit sequence, in which Mysterio exposes Peter Parker's identity to the world and frames him for his crimes, also dramatically changed Peter's future and provided the bridge into Spider-Man No Way Home. In retrospect, Far From Home served as both a Spider-Man coming-of-age story and a farewell to the first era of the MCU, showing Peter Parker attempting to find his place in a universe that had just lost many of its defining heroes. Intense, guys. There's a lot to it.
Intense, yeah. That was a long history, but very good.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, the official synopsis. Peter Parker heads to Europe hoping for a normal summer, but elemental attacks and a mysterious new hero pull him back into a dangerous fight he isn't ready to embrace. All right, so do you want me to read Act 1?
Sure.
Okay, Act 1, we're going to get into it, guys. The vacation interrupted. So, as Peter Parker mourns Tony Stark, he plans to confess his feelings to MJ on his European school trip. All seems well until Nick Fury intercepts Peter in Venice to draft him into fighting the destructive elemental creatures. Peter comes face to face with the water elemental and meets a mysterious new hero. Nick Fury reveals that Quentin Beck is a mysterious hero who came to our Earth after his Earth was destroyed from the elementals. Peter refuses the call to action, but Fury reroutes his school trip to Prague, forcing Peter to team up with Quentin Beck, also known as Mysterio, against the fire elemental.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what worked for you?
So, a lot works. It's funny because some of what works, I contradict myself and say it doesn't at the same time in a few moments, which is weird to say. But I will say I think it's the elements of certain things that work, and then the elements of it in that same sense don't work. But let's go with what worked for now, guys. I think what works is this feels like post Tony Stark. I think it's a smart idea to do this when they do it. It's post Blip, post Tony Stark. The stuff they do show in it of that is great. I think that's a big part of it that works. Also, what works is this setup as a European trip. I know I was like, oh, you're taking Spider-Man out of New York. That's like the identity. It's like, yeah, but you know what? He's in school. This is stuff that happens, right? They go on these big trips. So I think that it's smart to do it because it's fun and it does serve the story, just like the history does talk about. Without getting into too many more details, those things worked out real well for me. The only other thing I'll bring up that does work, and I'll pass it to you, then we'll hit some details, is I think there's a great introduction to Quentin Beck. I love that you start this movie out with him and Nick Fury and them are like, oh, what is this going on? And it makes us go, wow. And I think the Elementals are a really cool idea. I think they look cool. They're fun. And it's neat when later on when you find out that they're not real, it's wild. You know what I mean? So it's kind of neat. So, yeah, that's what works. We'll go into some more detailed things. What worked for you and a broad thing. And then if you want to hop into some details, we can.
All right. So I liked a lot of this first act. I think John Watts' vision of seeing what what Peter would look like in a European trip. I like this idea.
Yeah.
This is very creative. Get him out of Brooklyn, out of Queens. I'm sorry, that's where he's from, but out of New York City and throw him into the old world European looks and the landmarks and all that stuff. I think that's a really genius idea, honestly. So, I like this. I love the beginning, the opening of Nick Fury and Maria going to, I believe it was Mexico, and meeting Beck. I think that was a really cool opening sequence. I also love that the origin of Feast is help to displace people from the blip. And I want to touch upon that real quick for a moment. The blip itself.
I'm going to talk about this later, but if we're going to talk about it now, we can, if you're going to go where I think you're going.
Well, we are shown right off the bat what happens when people come back from this blip.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's kind of terrifying if you think about it in this aspect.
Oh, my God.
Because, yes, we get our loved ones back, but they come back in the same exact place they were blipped out. And we saw nice parts in this movie where they come back in the gymnasium. But think about the people in airplanes.
Oh my God.
If you were on a cruise in the ocean and all of a sudden you blip back to the middle of the Atlantic. Oh my gosh. If you were someone in that 5-year period who did migrate to America that we saw, that we made a comment on at Endgame, and then your child that was gone, your whole family blips back there, you're now separated from them. Like, who knows where you even, you know? It's like, wow. It's just the other end of things. It's like,
they don't ever touch on that either.
It's really a double-edged sword coming back. We wanted you back so badly, we finally got you back, but look what happened when you did. Like, the whole world went into another eruption of chaos, basically. And this kind of touches on it in that more humorous, mild aspects, but in retrospect, thinking about all that stuff, be like, holy smokes. It does lead me to a funny line that Peter's teacher says, is that his wife used the blip to fake a death, and then turned out she was cheating on him. Like, oh my gosh! It's almost like one of those jokes you miss. You speed right by, you can miss it type thing. You blink and you miss it. Oh my gosh, you're blipping, you miss it. It's something.
Yeah, it's wild to think that if you were on a plane and you blipped right there. I mean, do you come back in that plane? Or do you come back where that plane was?
I think, like,
that's the question.
Like,
right?
the gymnasium thing, you come back where you were last physically at. So I don't think it's like you're in your car, you come back in your car.
I agree with you. I think you're right. I think it's awful. I think it's a scary thing.
Think about that. If you blipped in your car and then you're now in the middle of a highway.
Well, it's better than being 30,000 feet
Oh
off the
my
ground.
gosh. If Marvel wanted to do something very daring, it's too late now, kind of. If they want to open up a movie with all the misplaced blips and then showing your intro to your hero or villain, whatever it is, through that. Holy smokes!
You become a villain because of the blip. You brought them back and they died.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so anyway.
But it makes you wonder, is like, they never do clarify, though. They could say, well, no, he was in the plane, so then he'd be in the plane. That would be their way around it. But yet there's still some scenarios you can come up with that isn't good. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely think it's more like it's where you were, meaning, you're 35,000 feet in the air. It's where you're going to come back, right? Like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, and also because this is a retrospective, we do know in future movies how some characters blip and come back, and we see where they come in. Like Yelena, it comes in my mind, Monica, all that stuff. They come back exactly where they were. So, like...
And what's the physics to it? Like, what if you're sitting in the exact spot of someone that blipped and they come back? What happens?
See, that's the thing. Do you come back? I don't see on here where you come back like you falling from the sky type thing.
Just boom, you're there.
You're just right there occupying that space. And if someone's already occupying that space, what happens? Are you inside somebody? Does that other person explode? What?
I mean, something happens, right? There's a metaphysical thing there.
Something has to happen.
I could only, we went to the drastic of places. Just think if you're in the same spot. Ooh, what happens? What's the physics here, guys? Like, that is a wild thing to think about.
Yeah.
That's a wild thing to think about. It's if you're sitting in the exact same spot, you imagine just taking a crap at Walmart. You know what I'm saying? Just doing your thing, and then somebody right there, right? I mean, you are them now. Like, what happens to you guys? Like,
yeah.
Maybe they should just let it be.
Yep, I agree. Oh my, it's.
I'm glad you brought it up. I wish they touched on a little more of the horror of it, because there's got to be some sort of horror to it.
But this is Spider-Man. It's family friendly, so I see it. But at the same time, they should take another character and really show what the heck happens. Anyways,
yeah, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. It's a pretty wild thought. But hey, that's just this is for y'all to think about when you're laying down tonight in bed. Like, oh my God, what if I blipped 30,000 feet in the air? Can you imagine?
Yeah. Yikes!
Because it's funny. When Peter comes back in Endgame, you wonder where they blipped to, because everyone's like, oh no, they just didn't exist. But that's not true, because...
So in the comics, they are in the Soul Stone.
Right. They don't make that clear in the movie, though.
No, in the movie, they make it sound like you just dust where you are and then you undust back. Yeah.
But like Peter tells Tony that we were gone, and then Dr. Strange showed up and said, we need you, let's go. So what do you mean he showed up? Like, where were you? Like, that's what I'd be asking.
Well, I think he showed up because he woke up, and that's where Doctor Strange was. He dusted too.
Maybe.
That's my interpretation.
Yeah, it could be that too.
Yeah,
but part of me is kind of like, is that one? It's like, were they all in like a weird place? Like, it's kind of strange. Nobody talks about it, which is fine. But I'm more concerned about the coming back.
Like the coming back. Yeah.
What if you were swimming? There's a ton of things you can think of there. Like, what if you were what does that mean? Like, are they going to use the excuse of, well, no, if you're in the plane, you come back in the plane, cool. But that doesn't mean if they say they tore that gym down and built a different gym, they're still going to show up where that gym was, right? So to me, that doesn't make sense. So I don't know. It's like like I said, I even went a step further. What if you're right where somebody was?
Yeah, there. Or what if something else was there? A building is where you blip back to.
Oh my God.
Like right in that. You're dead.
Yeah.
You're in the drywall. There's something that like a car right there. You blip right where a semi is coming. Like, holy smokes.
They move the fire, and that's where you were sitting at one point. Oh, so you blip and you're in the middle of the fire. You imagine just sitting around the fire and some... It's like, oh my God, like that'd be some wild stuff, guys. Like, there's some horror stuff going on.
If they want to do like a Final Destination movie in the MCU, it's everyone blips back and they're at their death.
Yeah, let's show you what this looked like. Yeah, because there's a support group of people out there dealing with this right now.
One moment you're camping, the next moment you blip back into a wood chipper. Holy smokes!
Yeah, you imagine the trauma of, I lost my wife and two little girls to the blip. They're gone. And then, they blipped everybody back. They were on a plane ride back to come home. So now they fell 30,000 feet and drowned in the ocean.
Yep.
Cool. Oh
my gosh, guys.
Thanks a lot. At least before they dusted away. Seemed a little more peaceful.
Yeah.
Maybe Thanos was more merciful about it than it was like, boy, Thanos had a point. You brought my family back just to plunge 30,000 feet to the ground.
See, there's a villain that's ready to be made right there.
Yeah, wait a minute.
Yeah. Anyways.
Glad you brought it up. I was going to bring it up later, but I'm like, nah, that's a good thing to talk about because it's wild.
So yeah,
it works though because it's cool, but it is a unique thing that brings a lot to your mind.
It makes you think a lot about other situations.
Yeah.
But for this movie, it's all happy and cheerful at this point, so we're just gonna stick with it.
If the Sokovia Accords had any kind of ammunition, if the Sokovia Accords happened after Endgame, that's one of them.
Yes,
that'd be on the list of you may have saved everybody, but do you realize?
Yeah, you brought back 1.3 billion people, but unfortunately, 0.5 of them died when they came back.
Millions of them died horrifically.
Yeah. Anyways, so guys, let's see. I'm gonna just say what my standout moment is from this too.
Sure.
Nick Fury's entrance.
Yeah, I'm not with you on this.
No,
I cannot stand Nick Fury in this movie.
Wow.
Such an idiot. And then we get to the end and we know why.
See, I forgive a lot of the points because of that, but I love the secret agent aspect of him hiding in their room and making Ned go to sleep and be like, you're a hard guy to track down, Peter Parker.
That's where my problems with this movie stem.
Oh, really? I like it.
They shouldn't have done that ending then. I agree with you. Here's the thing. I love what you just said. I agree 100%. But where the excuse of the ending being where Nick Fury's incompetent and makes real bad choices, and you wonder, well, you're not this dumb. Why are you acting this way? Oh, that's right, because you're a Skrull. But then he wouldn't act like the Nick Fury that we like in this either then. So you can't have it one way and the other.
Because I feel like
Nick Fury that's in the room that puts Ned down, that's how Nick Fury would be. That's not how the Skrull would be, though.
But Talos is trying to act like Nick Fury. So, and that makes sense to me. He's doing the best Nick Fury performance, which is actually pretty good. He's just not, he doesn't have the brain that Nick Fury has to be able to figure out, oh, Quentin Beck is really this bad guy. Yeah, they're very naive about it. And it's because they're Skrulls. They don't know how to trust them. They don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I don't buy it for some reason.
But they know how to play their part.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
I do buy it. So, anyways.
Now, when the Skrull takes over, is there rules to it that they haven't explained to us in the comics? You might know because this is why you're on this end of it. When a Skrull does take over somebody, do they, I wouldn't say their memories because clearly you can trick them, but do they take over like the likeness enough? Like where it's like, if I'm going to pretend to be somebody and I turn into them, their mannerisms and how they are, do they adopt that as well? Because then I'd be like, I get it. If he pretends to be Nick Fury and when he's Nick Fury, it's easier to fall into things that Nick Fury would do and to blend in better because that's part of the transformation. Because if it's just him doing his best interpretation of it, I don't think they knew each other well enough for him to be that dead on about how Nick Fury is.
Well, think about it in this aspect. Captain Marvel movie happened in the 90s. This is 2020, actually. It's because it's a little more than with the Endgame 5-year time jump. Then this is like 2020 or something for them. I'm not sure specifically, but that whole time, Talos and Nick Fury knew each other and became friends. So,
all right,
yes,
he
would know him enough for a good couple decades to act enough like him, but it's still with those little missteps of not being able to fully realize Mysterio is not who they say they are. These elementals aren't real. Some of this stuff doesn't actually work out that way.
That stuff I'm okay with.
That's believable for me, where they're enough to play the part to show Nick Fury still alive, but yet Nick Fury is off-world this whole time.
The putting an entire class of kids in constant danger is like, what are you doing?
But
I get it. He's a Skrull and he doesn't know, but someone needs to talk to him.
But look at Nick Fury. That also sounds like something he would do.
I don't think so though. I think Nick wouldn't have done it that way. And if he would, to me, that's it just feels out of. See, let's just say it feels out of character, which is fine because he's a Skrull. Like, if it was the real Nick Fury, he wouldn't be rerouting the entire class. I don't think he would. I think he just forced Peter into something. I think Nick's smart enough. I'm not going to put all your classmates in danger. Like, I think Nick cares enough about people that more so.
Okay, I could surrender to that a little bit.
Because it would feel like, oh, that's really reckless. And I don't think he means to be reckless. I think he's only reckless when it calls for it. And I wouldn't say this called for it. He could have easily just said, too bad, Peter. Let's go. And that's it. You know what I mean? Like, I really think that it was like he could have just made it harder for him and not taken his whole class and put them in that kind of danger over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? But because it is Talos, okay, cool. But that also means I hope that when he got back up there, Nick was like, what? Don't do that, dude. You know what I mean? Maybe, guys, I don't know. I'm not a fan of them being Skrulls. That's something that does not work for me in this entire movie. I don't think that was a good choice. And because of it, it's why it feels weird. And those weird things about it that I don't like because of that is what bothers me about the movie. So yes, I will surrender to the fact that Nick Fury's out of character because he is out of character. But where I'm going to be where my review comes in is I think that was a bad choice. I wouldn't have never done that. But the Skrull thing was just missed opportunities already. I still think they're like pining to make something out of it, and it still never turns into anything.
Well, see, this is a good, like we've talked about before, this is a good setup. If they followed through with it, it would have worked out really well. But unfortunately, in retrospect, we know they didn't. And they dropped the ball tremendously. But I do think this is a great way of laying the groundwork of Skrulls are here.
Yeah, you've convinced me to be nicer about it. I won't complain as much about it.
It's funny enough. You're right. It's great that we're talking about this, and it's interesting. This is your gripe of the movie because I have a gripe of the movie that's not related to this at all. That it's how do I say this in the nicest way? It's going to be more evident in Act 2, so I'm going to save it for that. But it is definitely mind-numbing to think about.
Oh no.
So
I struggle finding many problems.
Oh, I agree. I struggle finding problems, but there's always one that if you're not paying attention enough, it can easily slip by, and then you're kind of confused for most of the movie.
Oh boy, guys, so I'm going to concede to this though. I don't have a lot of grounds to stand on because I have to take my own advice. I can't make this movie pay for what they didn't do later. And that's what I want people to do with this new Spider-Man movie. Don't hate on the Jean Grey stuff because later it's going to make sense. So if they do not follow through with the Jean Grey stuff later, it shouldn't make this one that they did bad.
No, it drops the ball. Yeah,
they dropped the ball later. So I'll agree. If the intention was we want the Skrulls to be more important, we do want to build to something, then you know what? I will admit I'm wrong, and it works very well then. I guess I just don't like the Skrull thing because of what they've done with it already.
Yeah.
It made me think that they already failed at it, and it made me wonder what they were going to do. So I guess I just didn't have a lot of faith in it is all. And so I will take that back. I will actually give it the point it deserves for that I was going to take away from it. I'm actually going to give it back because I'm going to follow my own advice. You convinced me. I'm going to follow my own advice and just let this movie stand on its own.
Yeah.
Because I have to. Because I'm doing that with the other one, with Brand New Day.
Mm-hmm.
Because they could screw up Jean Grey later, but they set him up for a win. So they're setting it up for a win here. Later, they just didn't. They didn't do it. So we'll complain about that when we get to that. Then where they did drop the ball on that. So
I agree, and I think we are
because you're right.
We will complain about the Skrulls, but how this left me with the impression that they're Skrulls, and I know we're already jumping to the post-credit scene, but I'll just put a pin on this so we can move on to it.
It's part of the whole how you feel about the movie once you know it. Yeah,
and a part of Nick Fury's character this whole time. That's what we were talking about originally. Yeah, when I got done watching this movie in the theaters, I was so hyped for whatever the next phase was going to be, which we weren't going to know for a good year almost before they were going to announce things, that's what they were going to do. Because I thought they're leading into the Skrulls and the Secret Invasion storyline. It turns out they really did not know what they were doing, and they dropped the ball over the place.
Yeah.
Anyways, so...
And a couple more details about this first one, because then we'll get into Act 2 where you say you're going to get more into what's wrong, right? I just want to bring up, I like that this, I buy Peter in this entire movie, but the start of it, this idea of him just wanting to be a teenager, man, he's still in high school. He's still, I get it. It's part of the process. This is a part of where we go, right? I do like that Aunt May is like all on board with him being Spider-Man, though. Like even just bringing him out and even packing his suit, like just in case. You know what I mean? Like, so I like that she's not battling him, because you could have easily been like, she finds out the next movie is her like, I wish you, but no, she's like, okay, well, hey, you are. So we're gonna do the best we can. You know what I mean? And I love that, because it sets it up for the next movie, which is wild. And I like that Happy's more involved. I enjoyed those scenes a lot. I do like the elementals. I like the look of them. I think it's really good. The CGI in this movie is fantastic.
Yep.
In that sense, we'll get to that too when we get towards the end. I do like that there's many how Peter is juggling between Peter and Spider-Man. And honestly, in a retrospective, this is even better knowing how it goes when we get the brand new day. It's like a build that, I'm telling you, man, I love that they made a 3-movie prequel to the real Spider-Man movie they wanted to make, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing when you think about the genius of it. And I loved it. I love it. And it shows right off the bat in this. I like this. I think I believe the loss of Tony Stark in the world that we live in. I believe it's hard for him as well. Let me see what I wrote down for the things that didn't work real quick.
Mm-hmm.
What doesn't work for Act 1 for me, guys, is I do believe where it works of this being something after Endgame and doing post-blip and the Tony stuff being gone. I will have to tell you that if you took those elements out, I do feel like the pacing in the beginning it's almost too reliant on past movies. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying they're doing it wrong, and I don't think I would have done it any other way. But I will say this particular movie is one of the first times in the MCU, other than from Infinity War into Endgame, that it feels like more of a sequel than a standalone movie that includes things from before. When most Marvel movies are really good at being, you're going to get the movie, you got it, and you could start Marvel, you could watch Captain America Winter Soldier without seeing anything else and get what's going on. Now, you won't get the nuance that him and Bucky were besties and that feeling, but they explain it. It's easy. It's not hard to just jump into. You could watch Infinity War for the first time and not see any other Marvel movie, and you'd be fine. Hell, you could even watch Endgame. You just might be kind of like that Thanos guy. Wonder what's up with that. But you could still watch all of Endgame and not see any of the other ones, and you can still get a good movie. Some do have the sequel stuff where you got to see something before it. This one though feels very much so. If you were never seen an MCU movie and they sat down and said, I want to watch, well, you know what? I want to watch one of the Spider-Man ones. I'm going to pick this one. And they pick that one up. I'd be like, watch this other couple first before you watch this one. Because there's a lot of who he is and what's going to happen and why it's happening that you're not going to really understand at all. This movie has that sequel feeling. That doesn't mean it makes it bad. It does, though, make it feel like it needed to have a sequel feeling. Because I always applaud Marvel for being able to make a story that is sequels, because it all is, really. Anything after Iron Man 1's a sequel, right?
Yeah.
Technically.
The universe, yeah.
But you can go into alone more than others. This one, to me, though, is the first one that definitely is like, I would not let someone watch this one for the first time if you're watching Marvel for the first time. It's not a good way to find out Tony dies in this movie. And then to go back and watch. So like if someone saw this for the first time,
I can see
they'd say, oh, Tony died? It's like, yeah, watch Endgame. That impact is gone now because they watched this first.
I can see that. Yeah.
That's my only complaint is in Act 1, at least. I got that feeling of, oh, there's nothing wrong with what I'm saying. I actually struggle. I don't know if I'd even take a point off, but it is the gripe if I had to nitpick. This feels more like a sequel than most MCU movies. I'd say it's the first time it was very evident to me that, this is definitely a sequel.
Okay.
As in,
I can see that.
You could jump in anywhere, everywhere else almost.
Still, it's not like Ant-Man and the Wasp sequel. where it's mundane. This one actually has action-packed. This has story to it, character-driven development.
I agree. Well, I would still argue, other than the post-credits of Ant-Man and the Wasp, you could have watched that one and not seen the first one and been fine. It's just a boring movie. That's the biggest problem it has.
That's true. I feel like you would need to see the first one to see why they're doing the whole Hope rescue thing.
Yep.
But at the same
It's
time,
pretty well explained.
Yeah. All right.
Like
so
the nuances you're gonna miss, right?
Yeah.
But this one makes you feel like, boy, you missed a lot. But if you didn't see some of the other stuff. Anyway, that's all I got for the Biden. Didn't work.
Did you have a standout moment?
Yes and no. I did, but I forgot to write it down, so I'm kind of going off of memory here. I think my standout moment for this one, for sure. I'm trying to think where this act ends, because I almost think I put it for the...
It ends where they're planning the fire battle. It's not where they start the fire battle. That's in the next one.
Okay.
So it ends with them going to, like, at this point, they've gone to a couple different places. They went to Venice. Now they're moving over to Prague, the whole journey there.
He doesn't have the glasses yet.
This does have the glasses. Actually, yes. This has the glasses in that drone sequence in the...
Oh, okay, good, because that, I wonder, for some reason I forgot where exactly that landed.
Yeah.
But yeah, my standout moment is, I know a lot of people complain about the scene and they don't like it for some reason I see online, but my standout moment is him learning how to use the glasses. I like that stuff, because it's funny. It just reminds me of the Tony Stark messing with stuff. And it's neat that it's like so drastically violent. Like, it's like, oh my God. Like, and it's, I mean, some people complain, this is where Peter's stupid. It's like, no, he's a teenager, man. Like, he's going to say things, and the Edith is taking it very literal. And he's like, oh, no. And it's like, oh, no, and I like this. I like the misdirects. I think it's more funny. I like this whole scene in the bus. To me, is this stand-up moment. It feels like Homecoming. It feels like Spider-Man. It feels like the kind of stuff that we like seeing in these movies.
Yeah.
That's my stand-up moment.
I agree.
For some reason, I thought that was an act.
Nice.
I don't know why I messed it up in my head, guys. Sorry.
No, that's okay. There's a lot in Act 1. All right, so what is your score for Act 1?
I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10.
I gave the same.
Yep.
9 out of 10.
The pacing is a little but that's okay.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
All right, why don't you read Act 2?
All right. Act 2, Peter and Mysterio defeat the monster in Prague, bonding over the pressures of being a hero. Believing he is unworthy of Tony Stark's legacy, Peter hands over the Edith tactical glasses and AI system to Mysterio. Meanwhile, MJ discovers a piece of Mysterio's shattered projection drone, proving Mysterio is a fraud. The illusion drops, and Peter realizes Beck is manipulating the world with holographic tech. As he attempts to inform Nick Fury, Mysterio fights Spider-Man with illusions, resulting in Peter being hit by a train and Mysterio believing Peter is deaded. This is an intense part.
This okay. Why don't you talk about what worked? So there's a lot to unpack in this act. There are things that blow my mind, and there are things that bring question marks to my brain.
I like that MJ figured out who he is instead of him telling her. Even though the scene is played out like she guesses it and then he affirms it. And she's like, really? But I like that she's like that smart to be like, I got you.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, I did get you. You know what I mean? Like, I like
she's
that.
like, I'm 67% sure.
Yep. And I like that this movie doesn't focus on that being a big issue.
Yes, I agree.
And I'm real cool about that. They handled this whole Peter identity thing real well in all of these movies, but in this one, it definitely worked real well. I got a little sick and tired of Ned, and it's not as funny the fifth time around watching the movie, the whole thing with him and this other girl.
And Betty, yeah.
There's moments still I laugh, but sometimes I'm like, oh man, there could have been better jokes here if he wasn't in that spot. But it's okay, it's fine. I think what do they call him when he's in the black suit?
Spider Monkey?
Yeah.
Or no, Night Monkey.
Night Monkey. I love the Night Monkey thing. I want a Night Monkey poster. I think it would be cool. I think that's funny. I think the whole sequence is great. Yeah. I will say, here's what works, which is the big part of this, right? I think they did a great job at knowing they weren't fooling us about Mysterio. We went into this movie knowing, he's the bad guy. and they played it like we don't know he's the bad guy. But then the turn of him going bad that's where I think they took the leaps and bounds that you didn't know it was going to have that feel to it. And I think that worked for me. It wasn't just a simple, duh, he's the bad guy, and he just turns into the bad guy. They went the distance with it, man. Like, they really had fun with why he's the bad guy, how he's acting now that he's the bad guy, the whole thing behind it and what's going on. That works for me really, really well. It really does. Because it's like, yeah, duh, he is. I mean, if they really were trying to trick us, they failed, but they weren't. They were just they just were preparing us for, like, so he's going to be the bad guy and we're going to have a good time with this. We're just going to have a great time with him being the bad guy. So that worked for me. I mean, without going into too many more details, that's what worked for me. So how about you?
Okay. So what worked for me? I like the Night Monkey thing. I think that was cool. When you're watching this as a retrospect, I watched this movie twice preparing for this episode, just as a retrospect. I really could have done it just one time, but the second time is when it really hit me more that I am not a fan of that fire elemental scene.
Okay.
To me, it's very more on the nose that this is fake. So this is the thing that really brings to my brain a lot of the question marks about how Mysterio is able to make these elementals be menacing and real without getting to the Edith part of things. Because Edith, and they, to their credit, they do explain in this act that they had one woman that worked and created these drones to help them, but Edith is taking it up a notch. Yeah. And that's why they're doing the biggest spectacle in London with all the Tony Stark drones that can do massive more damage than these ones. So I'm going to give them their credit there that they did at least follow through and explain that part. But there's a lot of questions when it came to the water elemental to show that was how that was real and how it was done, and that these invisible drones there are there the whole time and no one's touched them. It's an accident that Peter breaks one of the drones during the fire scene, but I'm like, that could have happened at any point. Mm-hmm. That's the only part where I'm like, there's not that much of, in my opinion, the logic behind how they use the drones to do that.
Yep.
Because, in all honesty, Peter could have done like a mega web stream all over the place, and then he would have hit every drone. It's like, it's almost like Mysterio didn't think this through, but it just played in his favor the whole time. Like, it was all luck for him until that moment. And that's the part where it's a little more unbelievable for me.
Mm.
And that's why that scene, which is supposed to be a big thing throughout in the second act, or starting at least the second act, this whole Prague fire elemental, oh, world's gonna end. I'm like, yeah, you're not gonna die from this, because at that point you could really see that, okay, this is not that menacing. It does help the build up for Peter believing him and giving him the glasses and all that stuff.
We discussed how Nick and them are getting tricked because they're not them.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah.
The intuition's not there. But Nick would look at that big, I see right through that with my good eye.
Exactly.
Or with my bad eye. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, but
these guys are like, what the hell?
But for us as the audience, I feel like that's the scene where okay, you're seeing through the facade.
I think they want you to feel that way, though.
Yeah.
My rebuttal to you is what makes Mysterio not amazing. Now, when I say amazing, I don't mean good in the movie, like good, like I'm complaining about him. But what his fault is that he is getting lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Because the truth is, if he was smarter and not a freaking psychopath like he is, and not the master manipulator, or what's the word I'm looking for, a narcissist.
Yes,
like
narcissist.
If he wasn't so blinded by that, he could have got away with this. And we'd have a hero that's got a real dark secret, right? That really isn't a hero because his powers are fake. Mm-hmm. And so it wasn't going to last long. His plan, yeah, it sucks, but that's just it, because he's a psycho, guys. Like, I think that's what I would say to you is, you don't like the scene because the logic of it kind of starts to fall apart when you look at his plan and wow, wait a minute. But I think that that's the point. I think that his mistake is bringing them in and trying to.
Okay.
He didn't think this through because he's just pissed. He thinks he's going to get away with something amazing.
Mm-hmm.
He's just not gonna. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to fall apart. Like, we get charmed by him and we think that there's a normal, smart, intelligent human being there. But ultimately, there's a narcissist behind those eyes that results to murder, ultimately, when it comes down to getting his way. And if you'll go that far, yeah, he hasn't thought this through all the way through. And I think that the quirkiness of the group of them, once you meet everybody and all the stuff you see, that especially in that room when they're testing the drones later and how they act towards each other, I think that proves the idea that you're not really, none of you are put together. Like, you're only lucky that this is working.
Mm-hmm.
And Spider-Man is the wrench in that because it's not going to work. And Spider-Man the accident is Quentin's fault by letting Spider-Man be involved. Because if he didn't go to Nick and them and push and make a big thing about it, and he just showed up and saved everybody and left, he would have gotten away with this. But he's got to be the center of attention. He's got to be the new hero. He's got to be the guy. He's got to be the new Tony Stark.
Mm-hmm.
So he's reckless because he's a narcissist and he's crazy. And I think what you don't like about it, they want you to feel. They want us to look at that and go, yeah, he's way over. That is wild. How can you believe that? But if you put yourself in their shoes, you're right. All Spider-Man had to do was do a web thing. Quentin's just lucky he didn't.
Yeah.
But he's unlucky that he did have an accident and run into one.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, he's at fault. Quentin, he's more than just the Mysterio character in this. He's a narcissistic psychopath.
Well, another thing that actually does dismantle a little bit of what I'm saying, and I agree with what you're saying too. It's actually making me feel a little better about it type thing,
Because I kind of thought the same thing for a while.
All the other side characters that are making this team behind Mysterio have all failed.
Everything they do.
It didn't dawn on me until you're mentioning it like this and that he's just doing it out of luck.
Yeah.
And then it does play back that scene of that William guy in the first Iron Man movie, which great nod, by the way, to do that. Like, that's genius writing to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Bring back a side character from the first movie. He failed at doing that for Obadiah. And all these other characters that are mad at Tony Stark failed him in a way.
That's why they lost their jobs.
That's why they don't like him.
That's right.
So it makes sense.
Tony's made more villains than saved more. You know what I mean? Than he's saved.
But look at these villains in that aspect.
They're idiots.
They may be smart, but they're not the level of standard that Tony wanted, which is why they're not there anymore. Or they joined, like William's case, a bad guy and all that stuff. So yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna give it back that point.
Mysterio's just a little more put together than the rest of them.
Yeah, he's a little more. And funny enough, like Tony, he's a narcissist in and of himself, and he's his own worst enemy.
Which in that industry, you kind of have to be around all those guys, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I get it. All right, I'm gonna give it back that point that I was gonna take off from it because of that. But
it's very valid when you think about it. But I do think the nuance of it. That's what they want you to think.
Yeah.
Because I think the whole speech he gives in that bar is the reason why it's that way. Because he's all like, this is what we all deserve. It's going to be me. I'm going to be on top of the thing. I'm going to be the new hero.
I will say, that is an epic scene.
That's a great scene. But at the same time, you're like, oh, you don't want to just be a good guy, and this is your attempt to be a good guy, and you're just doing it the wrong way. You're a psychopath. Like, you're doing this for the wrong reason.
It was great at manipulating Peter to get that.
For sure.
And it's funny, when he puts the glasses on, he looks like Tony. That's exactly why they did it that way.
Yeah.
And that's
smart.
It is smart.
He's a very smart guy.
As soon as he leaves and you start seeing everything disintegrate and the technology, the holograms, all that stuff, it's like, wow.
And the problem with narcissistic psychopaths, whoever wrote his character knows this stuff too. And it must, at least for me, if I was a writer, I'd know it. The problem with the narcissistic psychopath is like some serial killers who are super smart. the thing that's their weakness is always going to come through, and it's that they need to be the center of attention. And that's his own fault of what happens to him, is him having to be the center of attention. Because there's a lot of things some of these guys would get away with because they are smarter than everybody in the room. The scariest people are the ones that can manipulate you, and you have no idea they're doing it. The problem is they come with a fault to them, and their fault is they will be their own downfall sometime. And that's him. That's Ted Bundy. I'm not saying he's Ted Bundy, but look how far he goes, though. He resorts to murder. Like, he eventually is like, I'm going to start killing mofos. Like, I'm going to have to kill it. I'm going to have to go kill that whole class, make sure they're on the plane because I'm going to crash it. Like, that's a jump you got to take in your head. Like, that's scary. You know what I mean? That's scary. He's a scary individual, really.
Yeah, he is.
You could believe him. You almost think, oh, you guys could be friends. I want you to be. I want to be his friend. And you're like, oh, no.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yikes. Yeah, I agree. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I do like that. Like you said, you already said in the beginning. I'm just going to reemphasize it. MJ finding out and seeing the projector thing. I think that's really cool. But let's just jump to what I believe is the best character moment.
Let's hit it. I don't have much more to say.
I think you are going to be in the same boat I'm in, because I remember you really emphasizing this, and this is that type of scene that's in contention for being the best scene of the movie.
Yeah,
possibly. That's the illusion fight between Mysterio and Peter. Would you say that is like the best moment of Act 2? Is that whole thing? Or is that just a me? Unless you already have something down differently than that.
I'm struggling on where I want to put that scene in the context of our sheets here. I think that as you say it, I think it belongs as the best. Yeah, I think it's a good fit for this act,
because this is it. I remember in the theaters being just mind blown how they did it.
Yeah.
That was very creative. Like, we knew it was going to happen. He's going to be a bad guy, reveal himself. But the way they showed the different Peters fighting him, the Nick Fury having another double take at the end of, oh, wow, this is still the illusion. You didn't realize it. Like, there are so many things that caught me off guard in this. The dead Iron Man coming out. Like, wow. Him in the snow globe.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
It's genius. Whoever come up with that sequence, congratulations.
That's mind-blowing.
That is an excellent sequence.
Yes.
That is a wild, that is really unique to this character.
That's what makes him more scary.
Yeah.
Is that whole thing.
Yeah. It does bring up a thing that we'll talk about towards the end about this technology that I want to discuss.
Okay.
That it's kind of a problem, but it's not at the same time. It's just something that needs to be talked about, but it's more for a hot take-ish spot, so... But yeah, no, I'm with you. I'll have to agree. I left that spot open because I wasn't sure, and I had put that with something else later, but it was tied with something. So now I'm very comfortable at letting that be this best character moment in the movie for sure. Yeah,
and it's best character really from Mysterio, because it really showed
100%.
It showed the gravity of what he's not only willing to do, but what he can do.
Yeah, and you can also say it's best for Peter as well, because you're really seeing this is the first time, really the very first time we see him like completely out of his element. Like there's nothing he can do, when usually it's like a struggle, and sure, he gets beaten down a little bit in the first movie there, but in this sequence of him doing this, it is like he is just powerless to what's happening. And it's interesting to see him be, rendered that way right till when the train hits him. I mean, for a good half hour, that guy, or 20 minutes, he just went through hell.
Yeah.
You imagine what a trip that was for him,
Yeah. Yes.
Climbing onto the train and sitting there, no wonder he passes out. Like,
that train,
extraordinary. Yeah.
That blew me away that they had him be hit by a train like that.
Yeah, they wanted to show you
see the bloody hand and be like, oh my gosh, wow.
Yeah, they wanted to show you just how far they can go with him getting hurt.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I guess we know he can survive getting hit by a train, but just. Right, yeah. Just. Thankfully, that spider stuff going on and kind of probably helps him heal fast, because spiders heal quick, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say for this act?
Nope, I'm all set. The
pacing held up for me.
Yeah, it got better.
Yep.
Yep. All right. So what's your score for Act 2 then?
9 out of 10.
I'm going to say the same thing. I had it at an 8 until that we resolved that little thing. So, 9 out of 10.
Yep.
All right. Wow, this is going pretty good.
Surprisingly.
I'm going to read Act 3, and then we'll get on to it. Peter travels to London, where Mysterio plans a massive illusion-based final attack to cement his false status as Earth's premier savior. Using his spider sense and his skills, Peter navigates Mysterio's complex Hall of Illusions, defeats the drones, and reclaims control of Edith, leaving Beck mortally wounded by friendly fire. Peter returns to New York and goes on a date with MJ.
Aw.
Yeah. That's so nice. Good for you.
So let's answer our questions first, and then we'll go into details. How's that sound?
Okay.
So did the ending land? And we're going to talk the very end, right? And yes, I think it did very much so. I love the idea of, is it post-credit scene where his identity gets revealed?
His mid-credit scene, yep.
Okay, so we won't go that far yet, but I do love the idea of him and MJ getting together.
Yep. I like that.
Works out real well.
I love that whole sequence of him swinging around New York City. This is the first time in this Tom Holland one we saw that.
Yep.
And I'm glad that it really wasn't touched upon too much in No Way Home, but when we get to Brand New Day, they elaborate on that magnificently.
It's some of the best stuff you ever saw.
But I love this is your taste of it.
Yeah, and what I like about it is it does feel like, you're home.
Yes.
We felt home too.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the feeling they wanted you to have, I feel like. Yes, so it did land for me. Best moment for Act 3? What would you say?
For character moment? For Act 3?
Either character or just moment in general.
Oh, no, yeah, Act 3. Biggest, best moment in Act 3.
Mine actually...
I tell you.
Mine's in the beginning of Act 3. Is that he's alive in jail and breaks out and makes that new suit. I love that whole, I need to figure out how to fix this. I messed up big time. And it's part of him taking on a part of responsibility of what my actions do. And that I'm too easily to trust the next adult in the room when I really need to focus more on.
All right, that's way better than my moment. My moment is I like the moment when he realizes how fake everything is.
Oh.
And he's inside it, and it's like he's just jumping from drone to drone.
That's cool too.
The effect, just the buildup of the complexity of all that stuff is amazing. Mm-hmm. But I like that answer better. So we're gonna share that one.
Yeah. I thought that is
a great moment.
Well, we're seeing not through his eyes, but we're seeing in real time him maturing and taking that next step of being a young adult.
The only reason that I didn't quite pick that scene is there's moments in that scene that I have in other answers of this thing.
Okay.
So,
all right.
But I will say, technically, though, it is the best of this act. So, we'll go with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I have to say. Okay. Biggest issue.
The biggest issue, I didn't have anything down for this.
I didn't have anything down for this either.
I'm happy with all of this.
I was curious what other people were saying about the biggest issue of this act. And the most I heard online was they thought that the final battle was underwhelming. But I gotta tell you, I think this was really well done. Making the monsters the way that they did and doing the kids have their own moment too of fighting against a drone with Happy. That's really cool.
I love all that stuff.
Yes.
I love all that stuff.
And to be honest, I think what I think online, what they're missing, the people that say that that's underwhelming, is they're expecting a third act big monster fight with Spider-Man. But at this point, he knows this is an illusion. So his whole goal is to get inside it, disable a couple drones so it doesn't wreck London, and then go find Mysterio and take him out. And that was executed well. I thought that was really good.
So, I'm going to combine this with the climax scene, okay?
Okay.
Because it's kind of part of what you're just saying.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're trying to say. I'm going to see if tell me if I articulate it correctly. What makes these Spider-Man movies so freaking good, when I say Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home, Brand New Day, why they're so good, and it's in contention of the best franchise of a single character in the MCU, is because their ending climaxes often aren't big spectacles. It's moral things that are happening. And it's more interesting when it's like that. Where the hallway scene is amazing of him using his Peter Tingle and doing his thing. I love it. And I won't go into too much more detail than it's fantastic. It's so good. But where it's the most intense is that last moment where, Beck one more time tries to trick him. And he catches the gun and he's laying there dying, and the conversation that they have and what happens. Like, that is like, if you want bombastic, just big, huge thing to the end, then you're missing the point. Because even in Homecoming, the last fight, the big bombastic part was up on the plane. But once it crashed, the majority of that was him trying to get him to stop.
Yeah.
Like, I'm saving your life because you're going to fight me till you die. But I'm going to beat you right now. And Peter proves I'm going to beat you. And he does. And he saves his life.
Yeah.
You go to the next one. You go to No Way Home. You got this huge thing that happens at Statue of Liberty. All the characters, it's a big bombastic thing. But it all comes down to that moment at the end with Green Goblin on his. Yes, it's like, and then of course, in this new one, Brand New Day, it's literally a 10-minute scene of no action, of literally them in his mind talking to Aunt May is the climax. What's that remind you of? Days of Future Past, right? So like, I'm just like, it's the brilliance of these Spider-Man movies is it's always going to come back to that emotional core of what this is about and who they're becoming and who you are.
Yeah.
And it is just brilliant. I can't get over how well that is. As good as Civil War is, it could have used that kind of ending more than it had. It still had one that was like that, but where that big fight was awesome at the end, there could have been a little more to it. And it kind of was. Civil War did touch on that. But these Spider-Man movies, man, they made it a point that your climax isn't just the action of the scene. It's the very last moments of that action of that scene is really where you're like on the edge of your seat the most. When I'm watching these movies, that's where I am at the edge of my seat the most. Not in the action part, but right at the end of it, when like the outcome is important. And like I think that's kind of what you're saying. It's like people say it's anticlimactic. It's like, yes, because you think you want to see big explosions and all that, which you still get. I don't understand. You still get it. But the climax of like what's happening, it's personal. It's right there. We're going on this journey with Peter constantly, and that's what makes these so good. That's that's that secret sauce that they all seem to understand, at least for now. And they're proving you don't need the same director to make that work because we got a new director in this new one, and it's even better.
Wow. Yes.
Like, it's the second MCU movie to make me cry. I couldn't believe I cried when we were up there watching that thing. I literally started shedding a tear. I'm like, oh my God, this hit me harder than even the first time. Because I knew it was coming now and I could really immerse in what was being said. But anything when it comes down to the X-Men, when you touch on those elements of what makes them that themage of it, that's why the X-Men movies get me. Like, you give me that moment of Xavier's talking and Days of Future Past, I can't handle it, man. I can't handle it. One of the best moments in the MCU is what he says to Doctor Strange in that shitty ass movie that they made. I cannot believe it's in that crap movie, but he says it and I'm like, oh my God, it's so good. Right? In this movie, why? So yeah, it's just sad, but that's I digress because I think that's the secret sauce of this, though, is the emotional impact is way more important than the bombastic, blowing things up and all that crap.
I agree. And with all that said, just cherry on top, yes, the climax worked for me, too.
Hell yeah.
I just,
it works.
Yeah, I completely agree. Everything you said, I completely agree. So what is your score for Act 3?
I'm going to give the Act 3 a 10 out of 10. Yeah, it goes up for me. It's a 10 out of 10.
All right. Yes. Well, I gave it a 9 out of 10. I've basically been 9 all along. So. Yeah. Cool. All right, guys. Wow. So, post-credit scenes.
Oh, yeah. Jeez, I can't believe we're there already.
Right? How about you read the first one? I'll read you read the mid. I'll read the post.
Okay. I'm on this side of it, right? Yeah. After swinging with MJ, a breaking news bulletin flashes on a massive screen in New York City. A doctored video recorded by Quentin Beck frames Spider-Man as a ruthless murderer who caused the London drone attack. Mysterio publicly named Spider-Man as teenager Peter Parker. J.K. Simmons makes his MCU debut as the Daily Bugle's J. Jonah Jameson, launching the shocking news.
And then the post-credit scene is Maria Hill and Nick Fury are driving in the car discussing recent events, then suddenly morph into the Skrulls, Talos, and his wife Soren. Talos calls the real Nick Fury, who is on vacation and working, basically, on a massive Skrull starship in deep space, setting up future cosmic MCU plot. All right, so I personally have to say, and it might just be my opinion, but these two scenes were top tier mid and post credit scenes.
I agree.
Whether or not they followed through with the J. Jonah Jameson one brilliantly in No Way Home, but the Skrull one that's a little lackluster because it looked like you're expecting big and you don't get the payoff.
Without looking ahead, it's exciting.
But yes, without looking ahead, I will say from my hype level, it was 110%.
Yeah,
it was like, whoa, they're going there.
Yeah, it's above and beyond.
Yes. Yeah. So for these scores, my retrospective wants to lower it, but for just taking the scenes as they are, it's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, we got to be honest. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's a good setup. Yes.
Yep.
All right, guys. So deep dives.
Right.
Our casting and performances. Best performance. Why don't you go first?
Yes. So the best performance in this movie for me, I'm going to give it to Tom Holland. I think everybody does a great job in this, but he definitely carries this movie more than the first one, I'd say, as an actor. Because we need to believe a lot of this, and I believe the strife of I'm a kid that is got too many adult things ahead of me, and I'm scared of it, and I don't want to be this. So I'm going to give it to Tom this time. Then it's the first time we see him get this low, until once we get into the next one, it gets even worse for him when it comes down to rock bottom of his choices in life. But after Quentin really screws him up in that whole thing, it's like, yeah, I'm going to give it to Tom in this one.
Okay. I wrote down Tom Holland, but in a close second to him is Jake Gyllenhaal. Mm-hmm. And I was debating on putting him for my most surprising performance or not, but I'm gonna leave him there as Tom Holland is first, Jake Gyllenhaal second for best performance of this movie. So all the reasons you said for Tom and for Jake, that was really good trying to play a narcissistic and deceptive character.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. Most surprising performance I'm putting is Nick Fury.
Okay.
Because this is the Nick Fury that I missed from the Winter Soldier days.
Yeah, I dig.
Yes, and I know we already talked about how he wasn't as smart, but we know that's a part of the plot.
The quirkiness is there.
Yes, but for Samuel L. Jackson portraying the classic spy Nick Fury part of it, I like that.
It feels like he's having fun.
Yes, yeah. So who's your most surprising performance?
So remember, when I think of this, I think best performance is top bill. Mm-hmm. I look at the most surprising and the casting win is they deserve to be in that same position, but they just take the second tier to it.
Okay.
So the most surprising one for me in this is actually Happy. I forget how good he is in this one, how much I like him in this. I see that. I'm intensely impressed with his acting in it, and the involvement he has is a little more, and I enjoy it. And in that moment with him and Peter, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes anyways, is fantastic. And his acting is spectacular. So it surprised me how much I like it. Yeah,
I like that actually a lot. All right. Weakest performance.
Yeah, if any, let's be honest. I don't think there's many that's real bad in this. I will tell you, I'm going to give it to Ned, though.
Yep, me too. Jacob Allen.
Only because it gets old. That joke just plays out too fast.
Yep, it goes too long for the whole duration.
Only role in this movie.
Yes,
and it sucks.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I agree. All right, casting wins or misses.
So the casting win's going to go to Jake.
Yeah.
So I've loved Jake Gyllenhaal for a very long time. So that's why I say, guys, casting wins and most surprising performance and best performance. To me, it's the same category. It just depends on the order they're in. I'm going to give it to Jake because he's going to do a good job. So it wasn't a surprise to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think Tom does better in this because he needed to pull some things out. But like you said, for all the reasons why he's your surprise is all the reasons why, to me, it's a casting win. Because Jake is an immensely good actor.
Mm-hmm.
And this was cakewalk to him compared to other stuff he does. So I'm not saying he didn't do the best he can here, but he didn't have to because he's just that good.
I agree.
He really is. When you see him do his best, it's amazing stuff, guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could point you to some movies of his, you'd be like, wow. But in this, on top of it, just shows why he's so good.
I agree. Any missed opportunities, a waste of potential for you?
And no, not so much.
There's none for me either.
No, I'm cool with there's nothing that I can think of.
All right, so direction and production. What do you have to say about the directing style, cinematography, action quality, CGI, music?
So the music's fantastic. I love the Spider-Man soundtracks. I'm actually listening to the one that we just saw. Some of the music in this last one was so good. Not just the music of the score, but even the songs they chose to put in it are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Action quality in this one, awesome, man. I like the drone stuff. It's really fun. Cinematography is really fun. The director knows just what he's doing. He's got a vision. Like we said, if you got a vision, it's going to work. But I do want to highlight the CGI and cinematography. And I'm going to give it to him, man. That sequence when they are, even the hallway sequence, any of the sequences that aren't the elementals with this stuff, with this technology, is spectacularly crazy looking. And especially the Mysterio sequence and the hallway sequence, I got to say, is top notch when it comes down to how they filmed it. Fantastic.
I agree. It was mind blowing that they were able to pull that off the way they did.
So good.
Yeah. All right. So hot takes.
If I have any hot take to say, is I think if Beck would have gotten away with this, it would have been interesting to see how long it would have took for everyone to be like, yeah, you're full of crap. It would have been fun to see that continue on. But I think the only hot take I have is the Edith thing. It's like, what happens to those things? And I realized, they go to the Department of Damage Control. The glasses do. In the news thing, he dies, and in the investigation, Damage Control takes over, and they take Tony's glasses from Peter.
That's right. That's in the beginning of No Way Home, right?
They talk about it in this here, but I don't know if they bring it up in No Way Home. Maybe they do. We'll find. I can't remember. But it's like, this is where I want to talk about the technology real fast. It's like, why isn't this used in the MCU again? Like, it's intense technology. Like, it's just gone now. This barf stuff is gone now. In the Edith thing, they just kind of abandon it, right? Like, they're just like, well, it's over. It's a whole, space shuttle full of drones.
Like, killer drones.
It's just going to be for this sequence of this movie, and that's it? Interesting. It's a weird plot line that just gets completely abandoned for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it goes against this movie, because I think it fits more into the whole follow through than it does hurting this movie. But it does make me wonder, why didn't they ever include this again somehow? In some way.
I agree. That's a good point.
Imagine they deployed this on Thanos.
There's
it could have at least been a great scene. He still would have beat it.
There's some,
it would have been unique, right?
This is one of those, there's some of those tools in the MCU, I think we've talked about in the past MCU too, where we're like, why don't we see this again?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what it is. I have to look through our retrospectives.
There's another one in the next movie.
But yeah, it's just like,
why not have that thing again? Why not give him something like that where you can hit somebody webs and just put them in a cell somewhere? That sounds like a tool you might want to have in your back belt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there's a few things that just abandoned, right?
I'm like, those tools would have been handy fighting Thanos now Doom or whatever, I agree. I would love for them to put in one of these Avengers movies where they walk through Avengers campus or tower or whatever it is, and they have like a Batman has this actually in the comics and in the video game. It's like a hall of all their gadgets they've ever used. and it's on display.
Kind of like what what's his face has on Asgard too. Like a bunch of
yes, that's a good
trophy room basically.
The trophy room,
Stuff.
of all their gadgets they've ever used. And part of me is like, why don't you use them? But anyways,
because if you think about it, that could have been a cool scene with anybody. Like, I mean, when I say the Thanos thing, this is after that, so you could arguably say it didn't exist then yet, right? So cool, that's cool. But it's like you couldn't have thought of another time that you know what I'm saying?
Well, see, I would argue this existed even during that because
I would too, but we don't know.
Immediately after Tony's death, and it's not like they just created these;
and
they've always had them.
Was around during Iron Man 3.
Yes.
So technically,
well, Civil War is when they made Barf.
That's right, Civil War. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I got
so
oh my god.
I mean, the drones might be later, but at the same time, those drones could have been handy at the Endgame battle.
What a cool scene of them showing up and doing this cool thing, and Thanos using the Reality Stone, and they all turn the drones, and he just and just takes them out with the Power Stone or whatever.
Yep.
I mean, it would have been easy. It would have been unique to be like, hey, at least they used it, right? Like, this is one of the coolest. And then didn't they give it to a company that now we're finding out is awful?
Evil?
Yeah. It's like, obviously, they're not even using it either.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it makes you wonder, what's that all about? Like, why? But I don't know. I guess it makes me wonder why it was just something to say, just don't put that in there.
Mm-hmm.
I think people didn't like it in the long run. I think when you go look at any reviews out there, the things they complain about is the drone stuff. They say, too many of the drones, too much was computerized. I think that's why they're like, we're just not going to do it again. I'm just stay away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, part of me is kind of like, well, what the hell? I like it. So,
anyway,
that's my hot take, I guess, is I wonder why this just disappears.
I like your hot take. I like it a lot. So this is my hot take. Peter handing over the Eve of Glasses to Mysterio, I feel, is a brilliant reflection on grief.
Yeah.
The overwhelmed teenager who desperately wanted permission to just be a kid again after all that he went through, the emotional turmoil of losing Tony and coming back and things being different and trying to adjust to life back in school, which everything's radically changed for him. Handing over that heavy burden to so he is not becoming the next global savior, and it turns out he has to take on that responsibility of, I have to do this, I have to move on. There's no one else but me in that aspect. I think that's a brilliant way of showing his grief that I don't think people talk about too much. You could probably say that that's an underrated moment, to be honest, and I probably might put that as my underrated moment too, that scene. But that when you think about the stages of grief, this is like a couple of them wrapped in one. This is like really well done. So that's kind of my hot take, I guess.
I like it. I agree with you. Yep, it is. I think that your hot take is perfect in pointing out the deepness of what they're doing in this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what makes these Spider-Man movies so good. It's because they're really establishing it. They're really holding on to
Peter's origin, really.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%.
Okay, so let's see. Quick fire questions. Best scene of the movie for you?
Oh, let me pull it up. I'm going to give it the hallway scene with the Peter Tingle stuff.
Okay.
It was. Yeah, I'm going to give it that. Yep. Yeah, I love this when he gets into that. He just accepts it and takes on his. Oh, I'm going to learn. I'm going to trust my instincts, and he just goes at it. I love that whole scene, and then with the gun, I think that's the best scene of this movie.
Okay. For me, it's Peter versus Mysterio that first time.
Yeah, that's a good coin toss between the two of them, to be honest.
Yeah,
the first one is wild. Oh,
yeah, it's crazy. I love how they did it. Least best scene for you?
I actually put something for different reasons. And it's a lot of the Ned and stuff with Ned and the girl. What's her name again?
Betty.
Yeah, Ned and Betty. It's the only part of that scene with the fire one that did make that drag on more is that they weren't as funny. You know, that got old to me, and that was them being there just made that scene linger too long. So it's not the same reasons why you had worries about it before, but it definitely was a scene that the pacing was off. and it just was way too long of a scene in the middle. So Dad, I'm just going to say that's the only time I kind of was like, all right, just get the scene done. Let's move on.
Mine's exactly the same. And Ned and Betty definitely are part of the reason why it kind of dragged on. And also what I explained earlier, the confusingness and the predictability, I should say, of it. Even though, like you said, I think that you're right. They meant that to be that way. But
it actually could have you done better if they focused more on that and took the Ned and Betty part out.
Yes.
Then it would have been more obvious for you and then you'd have enjoyed it more, I think. That
maybe. Yeah. So that's mine too. Best villain moment.
This is where I had the tie from earlier, but I'm going to let the illusion scene be where it is, and then you at least put it in your best scene. To me, his best moment is the speech in the bar when he gets done and Peter walks out and he just is like complete 180. It's just the acting, the scene itself, the reveal. It's genius. It's like, okay, of course we knew he's bad. We knew. But the direction they went with it being barf, all that stuff, I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. And I just enjoy the hell out of his little speech. I think it's his best moment for sure as the actor with that character. Yeah.
So mine is when he threatens to put a bullet in everyone's head.
Oh, yeah. It's scary.
Yeah, because to me, he's like part of the team and you could tell he's in charge and all that. But once you see that narcissism come through where even your friends become your enemies if they're not doing what you want them to do, and it's scary that he's like, no, none of you would. I have to put a bullet in their head. None of you want a bullet in their head. And all the drones immediately are like, oh, yeah, we're doing this. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That to me is like that's a villain moment right there.
Calm down, fella.
Yeah.
Great moment. Yep. Very good choice.
Most punchable face.
You ready for this? Every single person in that bar. So like William, that one from A Christmas Story, he was the punchable face for me in Iron Man, and he deserves it just as well in this one too. And then the other guy, what's his name? I wrote it down. Even his name, Gooderman. His big old long horse face. Punch that guy in the face. He's the same one that puts the bus on the bridge at the end.
Yep.
And then Victoria and Janice, they look like troublemakers.
They do.
Everybody in that bar looks like somebody that someone was like, boy, I could punch that person in
They
the
look
face.
like the gossip people in the office. They look like they know how to get into trouble.
I just want to line them all up against the wall and just one giant big old knock to the noggin. That's my punchable face. It's multiple faces.
That's awesome. I put William, but I agree with all of them. Yeah. Well, the reason why I put him more than anyone else is, did you not learn from the first villain you were helping in the first Iron Man movie not to help the other villain? Like, there's no brain cells aren't connected there for being so smart that you are.
Like it all works for the scene and everything. I don't have a problem with who they are.
Yeah.
But they even look like a punch to the face.
Yes.
Not just their character. They look like they need it. Like they made us really hate them. Like,
yes.
Yeah, it's so good.
I agree. All right. One prop you take home.
I have two. One's actually from the movie and one was a thing that they made for the movie.
Okay.
Which is still in the movie, but it's not actual thing in the movie. If it makes, you'll know what I mean when I say it. Okay. I think the glasses are cool. I would love the case for the glasses on a little shelf. That'd be neat. Right next to the Tony had a heart, proof Tony had a heart, right? The other one is they actually do make a good size snow globe of the thing where Spider-Man's sitting in there with the tower. And they made that. That would be cool on a shelf too. You see what I mean? It's like not technically a prop of the movie, but it is a moment that is in the movie. So yeah, to me, that's the two that I would definitely get that snow globe. That thing is cool. But yeah, the glasses, I think, is the only thing that really sticks out to me that really is interesting, you know?
I do agree with the glasses, especially in retrospect that we never see them again.
Yeah.
So I should have put that. I put MJ's necklace that he gets.
Yeah, it's cool.
Like, before it's broken apart.
Yeah, the before one is even more interesting. I think that's
because that's, that's
a good call.
All right, most underrated moment.
Let me go back up here. I put it out of order.
I had two of them. But one of them was already in my hot take, so I'm going to leave that out. The other one I'm going to put is Peter and Mysterio on the rooftop the first time. I think that's a good conversation between the two of them.
It's funny. I had a tie between two things, and that was one of them. Nobody talks about that conversation enough.
Yep.
Because that's the most manipulative is when he heart to heart with them.
Yes.
Because that's even where we're just like, maybe they aren't going to make him a bad guy in this, and we're just being fooled. But they kind of almost fooled us by making us know that he's going to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
But they almost duped us by telling us, right?
Yeah.
Because you like him. You're like, I like this guy.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I like this guy. The other thing is the blip stuff for the exact same reason you brought it up in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
This is where I was going to bring it up later.
There you go.
It's so underrated because how awful. We don't have to retread that again. But my Lord.
That's
I can't
a
wait to
scary
clip that.
concept.
That's a good clip right there.
Yeah.
That is terrifying.
Oh, gosh. Overrated moment.
So this is a weird moment to pick because I'm going to give you 2 answers here.
Okay.
I'm going to give you my most overrated moment, and I'm going to give you my most emotional scene at the same time.
Oh.
Because it's the same scene.
Okay.
This was hard to explain, but in my head it makes sense.
All right.
So I hope you follow me.
Do tell.
So I think people see, I'm going to go with the overrated moment, a part of it first. I think people see this scene and they complain sometimes, but they also focus on the wrong thing that's going on in the scene. And it's overrated because it's this idea of taking Iron Man's place. And the scene almost plays into it a little too much. So some people are almost like, oh, see, Peter's going to be that next guy. When, like, it's the best scene, though, because technically it's the scene Peter realizes there is no taking Iron Man's place, and he's got to be his own person. But I think the moment gets misinterpreted a lot. So it's an odd answer for those 2 things. But it's the most emotional because it is a big deal. And that is something that he needed to tackle with. And it is that whole, this isn't about replacing him. No, you're not Tony Stark. And no one's ever going to be Tony, especially you. But you can be you. And he trusted you enough with this because that would be Tony. Some people criticize, why would he leave it to the teenagers? I don't think you understand. It actually kind of makes sense. Tony's wild and he's crazy. And he thinks of stuff like that. And I think it makes more sense that he does leave it to Peter. But I think people interpret this as, I thought Spider-Man's taking Tony's spot. He's gonna be the next Tony Stark in a way. And I remember the talk around the buzz of that whole thing was that. And there's a couple videos I watched online after I watched this movie 2 or 3 times. I did watch a couple other people's reviews, and even in their own reviews are like, oh, I love that it is Peter that's going to be the new Iron Man. Even though he's going to be an Iron Man Spider, he's going to be an Iron Spider, but it's cool. He's going to take that mantle up. And I don't interpret the scene as that at all.
I don't either.
So it's I think it's overrated because they missed the point.
I see the similarities that they're doing, playing the music, him acting like what Tony would do.
Too much to like. It's almost like, oh, if you didn't do that, maybe people would get it.
But it was really. I agree with you honestly on that. I didn't have something written for my overrated moment because it was hard for me to figure out one. But it is my most emotional moment too. Peter confessing to Happy on the plane that he misses Tony.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
There's a lot. It's growing up right there. And it's him realizing he's being his own person. And
another stage of grief.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. It's playing on our screen right now. Yeah. It's perfect. So yeah, I fully agree with you on everything you said.
But I think it gets interpreted as he is walking into that mantle, and I'm like, no,
he's becoming his. No, yeah. And also, guys, do you want that?
No, nobody does.
I am more in favor, and this is a big leap there, of Falcon taking on the mantle of Captain America than Peter taking on the mantle of Iron Man.
No, I got you.
And I'm not in favor of that, too, by the way. Yeah. But,
To add on to that hot take part of it, I'm more in favor of Rhodes taking up the suit. Not taking Tony's spot, but taking up the suit of Iron Man still being around. I'd be more open to than Peter doing it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. No, Peter needs to be Spider-Man, his thing.
That's right.
Yep. Anyways, funniest part, I guess. Funniest moment.
The funniest moment.
I gotta tell you, those teachers are hilarious.
They are some of the... Yeah.
I love that.
What's yours?
So mine is when they get into the hotel in Venice and the kid says, "This place is sinking." And the teacher says, "You mean charming." I'm like, no, it's literally sinking.
I like the whole witches thing that he talks
about.
Yes. I think that's my funniest moment.
What does he say? No, I'm a man of science.
Yeah.
And I have only one thing that I think is going on here.
witches.
Yeah, witchcraft. Yeah. The teachers take the cake because it's so off the wall. It's perfect.
And you can tell these teachers don't know how to handle these kids. They're just doing what they can do. They're like, all right, let's get through this.
Yeah. And I still firmly believe that one teacher is literally the guy from the Hulk movie that lost his job.
He is.
Now he's just a teacher. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, final scores. So, out of 2 for you, Ike, the story.
I'm going to give it a 2.
Okay, I'm giving it a 2 as well. Characters.
2.
2.
That was a 1, but you convinced me to change it.
All right, 2 as well for me. Action and visuals.
That's a 2.
2 for me. Emotion and stakes.
I'm going to give it a 1.5 because there are times where I didn't feel... Yeah, it's a 1.5. It's not a world-ending thing to it. I don't know why. There's a little lacklusterness to some of it, but I don't know if it takes away from it too much, but I'm going to give it 1.5.
I gave it a 1 for that same reason. There's definitely the emotion in here, but the stakes is not as big.
Yeah. Once you realize the stakes, you're kind of like, oh, okay, I get it now. It's really, if he'd have won, he'd just been a false hero.
Yeah.
And some people died.
Yeah.
It's awful. It's still awful, but it's not like the world
but
ends.
it's not. Yeah. Rewatchability and MCU impact.
See, this is a 2. I can watch. This is one of my favorite ones to rewatch, and the impact I think is huge.
So
on the MCU,
for me, this is a 1.5, and the rewatchability is huge. I'm with you on that. There are huge parts of this movie where the MCU impact for Peter in particular is there, so I have to give it that credit. But the other MCU impact of following up with the Skrulls, that is not in the MCU impact at all. So
yeah,
I know we're judging it on just this movie, but this specific question is MCU impact. So for me, I'm like, had they not dropped the ball on the Skrulls, this would have been an easy 2. But
that's a good point. I think I agree with you on that. So I think I will.
Yeah,
I will agree with the one.
This is like that one gray question of our whole retrospect that we're like,
it's a tough question, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I concede to that because you're very true. If there's any place to put that issue, it's right there.
Yeah. All right, so final score. What is yours?
So I got to tell you, this movie goes the distance. It does all the right stuff and everything. It's just there's an emotional lacking to it enough where it is rewatchable as it is rewatchable just because it's more fun. I'm not saying it doesn't go there emotionally, but it does. It does go there. But there is something for me that I'm going to give it a solid 8.5.
Okay.
I think that's fair. I almost gave it a 9, but I do think that they could have nuanced some things a little stronger and better. And some of the pacing does make me look at my watch and think, okay, this scene could end and then we'll move on. And I think that I have to give it that 8.5, but I'm going to give it that high because like I said, this Spider-Man is it's killer. They're just killing it with Spider-Man.
So I gave it an 8. It's been the same.
Yeah.
So, I mean, dividing it up is going to be like 8.25, but I'm just going to round it off to 8. And so the official Goodell Multiverse score for Spider-Man Far From Home is 8 out of 10.
I think that works. That fits.
Yep.
That fits.
Yep.
Just imagine what the next Spider-Man movie is going to be.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Do you have any one-sentence final reviews or anything you would have done differently?
Nothing I would have done differently. I think anything that we did say we do differently, we've already kind of talked about. I kind of wish they had explored the blip stuff a little more. But at the same time, maybe it's not the right movie for it. But initial end thoughts here, guys, is arguably Spider-Man's, this character's set of movies in the MCU, I think are in the discussion of the top 3 best the MCU has ever done.
Yep.
And this movie proves that. The next one proves it more. And the newest one almost makes the argument.
I agree. I'm gonna echo everything that you said and add to that making this is one of the best sequels of a solo character that the MCU has ever done.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a couple of them that kind of eke out over it, like Winter Soldier type thing, but some of them are on par with the first one or greatly go down in their sequel. This one ups the ante just enough where you feel character progression. Yep. And then once we get to, in retrospect, the third and fourth, it's like out of the park.
Yeah, I actually have something to admit. I'm going to admit it here on the podcast. Because this is where we do it. I wanted to save this to the very last thing that we said. I have a confession to make now to the folks out there.
Oh, boy.
In watching this movie, it has occurred to me an epiphany I had during the watching of this film. And my epiphany is, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, because Spider-Man was never one of those characters that I was super enthused about anyway. I always liked it, and they're always fun, and I never had a problem with it. But this time, I'm going to tell you, Spider-Man is now in the competition of being one of the top 5 best characters the MCU has ever made, especially after this last movie. And then watching it here reminds me, because when I look at this, I think of where we get in the next one. And I'm like, I like him now as much as I like Captain America, as much as I like Thor, as much as I like Tony. I actually like him more than I like Hulk. I like him more than I like 90% of people that are around. He has become one of my absolute favorite characters to watch. And hot take or not, guys, Toby and them are great. I love them. I give them all their flowers. This is the best Spider-Man we've ever seen live action. And it's the best we're ever going to get. You're only going to get better if you do a different character, which will be a Miles Morales someday. And then you can do different things, and it's fine because we'll expect different stuff. But as of right now, Tom, I hope he does this for the rest of his life because he's so freaking good at this role, man. Like, it is just, and the writing's so good. He's top 5, top 4. Yeah.
He's, to echo what you just said, when we saw A Brand New Day, it made me feel like this is Golden Age MCU again.
Yeah.
And it's because of Tom Holland and his performance. And now when we see Spider-Man, it's refreshing to feel like we're back at the MCU. You know what I mean? That's one of the few characters, very few characters in Phases 4, 5, and 6 where I can honestly say when they came on screen, we felt like we were in the MCU again. Thor was definitely part of that, but this one, or Spider-Man, I should say, yes. Agree. All right, so that concludes, guys, our retrospective review of Spider-Man Far From Home. Ike, what is on the docket for next week?
Oh, next week, guys. All right, here we go. Wow. Branchpoint Breakdown next week is going to be a great one, guys. We're going to WandaVision. Woo! It's going to be a fun one to talk about. But I got some watching to do this week. Our retrospective is Black Widow. So please join us for that fun. And look for the release, guys, of X3 Last Stand, the special retrospective. Sammy said he's got it all edited, ready to go, and it should be up pretty soon, right? You said? And
yep.
Check that out, guys. We had a good time talking about it. We crap on it a lot. There's a lot of things to crap up, but we have good talks about it. We got good reasons, though, and you guys watch that. You'll hear what we're got to say. And I'm somewhat looking forward to the next episode.
Yeah.
WandaVision's going to be perfect to do. And Black Widow's not awful, but it is, hey guys, we got to take a break from this spectacular stuff and talk about some missteps, right? So we'll get there.
We're officially entering into the multiverse saga, and I love WandaVision. There's no doubt on that. And Black Widow, I think we're gonna have a great conversation about that film, the good, the bad, the ugly, every part of it. So I'm looking forward to that myself. I'm actually really looking forward to rewatching that because it's been a hot minute, but that's going to be fun for us. So yeah, I agree. So guys, we are on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. Please like, please subscribe, please comment, please get that algorithm going for us. You can stream us on Buzzsprout, on Apple, on Amazon, on Spotify, wherever you stream, we're probably there. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies, get the word out there for us, guys. And until next time, we will see you at the movies.